life I've barely spoken. Your words have been so broken. I've been under your hypnosis. Why did I sip that potion? I'm so done with holy ghosting. My birth, it is an omen. Lay me down up in the ocean until you see no motion. Right now I can barely focus. I'm showing no emotion. On your knees, show your devotion. My skin is black but golden. I'm not here for bragging, boasting. Ain't lying, I've been chosen. Mind is burning, heart's exploding. This is my magnum opus. Are you with me now? Said, are you with me now? Ain't felt this good in a while. They want us to simmer down. Can you hear me now? Am I going in and out? I stop and just look around to see if you're with me now. Tell me, are you with me now? Ready to put it down. Start at the bottom, already forgot them, but they won't forgive me now. You really ain't ready now. You haters just in the crowd. But still I just look around. Are you with me now? Are you with me? Step in the fire, get ready to take it higher. Real coming out your amplified. Y'all want every black man to be rich and proud. Why these weapons up and turn into shy, huh? Cell phone became your brother. Internet replace your mother. You leaving homies on red. It's no wonder all your friends dead. Jealousy was a centerpiece, so my best friends turn to enemies. Sabotage my identity. Why they wanna treat me like a Kennedy? They wanna affect the legacy. Protect it hard, I cut off the extremities. I'll never be another piece in your recipe for social supremacy. Are you with me now? Said, are you with me now? Ain't felt this good in a while. They want us to simmer down. Can you hear me now? Am I going in and out? I stop and just look around to see if you're with me now. Tell me, are you with me now? Ready to put it down. Start at the bottom, already forgot them, but they won't forgive me now. You really ain't ready now. You haters just in the crowd. But till I just look around, are you with me now? Are you with me now? Are you with me now? Said, are you with me now? Ain't felt this good in a while. They want us to simmer down. Can you hear me now? Am I going in and out? I stop and just look around to see if you're with me now. Tell me, are you with me now? Ready to put it down. Start at the bottom, already forgot them, but they won't forgive me now. You really ain't ready now. You haters just in the crowd, but still I just look around. Are you with me now? Are you with me now? Whoa. I feel it coming now. It's too late to shut it down. Over the mountain now. Burning the valley down. I don't know where my mind is. Don't even know what time is. Somebody stop the virus. I don't think I survived this. I feel it coming now. It's too late to shut it down. Over the mountain now. Burning the valley down. I don't know where my mind is. Don't even know what time is. Somebody stop the virus. Room full of bodies, but nothing but silence. Yeah, I'm quiet, but f*** all that shyness. Go crazy, turn this bitch into an asylum. You fly, but we ain't looking for pilots. I never bow down to a tyrant, His Highness. Even Jack said, f*** all them giants. What goes up comes down, man, that's basic science. Look at my iris and you'll see the fines. I'd rather not get involved with you. What's the problem, man? I'll solve all you sign. How you find when your time up? How you climb when your line stuck? Barbershop getting lined up. Yeah, your hair good, but your mind super clear. Uber everywhere. This sound like Superman is here. Are you with me now? Said, are you with me now? Ain't felt this good in a while. They want us to simmer down. Can you hear me now? Am I going in and out? I stop and just look around to see if you're with me now. Tell me, are you with me now? Ready to put it down. Start at the bottom, already forgot it, but they won't forgive me now. You really ain't ready now. You haters just in the crowd, but still I just look around. Are you with me now? Are you with me now?
All right. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the WardRadio live stream. I am your host, Cardin Ellis, and today I am joined in the studio by a killer cast of none other. I'm not joined in the studio by a killer cast. I am joined via Zoom by none other than, I was going to say Brad Whitbeck. Brad, thanks, bro. You ruined my intro, Brad. Anyway, I'm joined by Jacob Hansen. Who else we got here? Luke Hansen, as well as Charlotte Clark, also known as Jonah Barnes, the
novices.
Yeah, I was a novice too, and I didn't have your guys' sound turned on because I was letting.
Can you still not see me?
Okay, there we go.
Nope.
Okay, let me try shifting dimensions again.
Okay, cool. I'm sure that's what it was. I'm sure that's what it was. So anyway, it was an intro. It was a bit. It was a bit. We're all comedians here.
Good bit.
Yeah. So anyway, we got a really, really, really cool show planned for today. Before we get started, though, I want to put on our screens a really awesome comment that Luke Hansen pointed out today by Dorston Graves. Says, I'm attending all sessions of General Conference this weekend with my mum. Must be an Englishman. Says, my renewed LDS activity is largely due to the ministering of WardRadio and its guests. Love you guys. That includes all y'all right here. What an awesome way to start a show. What do you guys think about that? Luke, how'd you get this, man?
This was on the last live stream that we did that I was on. And it wasn't a super chat. So, it kind of scrolled through. We didn't catch it, but I saw you. I screenshotted you and brought it to the rest of the guys so we could appreciate the thanks that we get. And we really appreciate it and hope that we're doing good work here.
Okay. I assume he was talking. I wish he would name names. Can you get a little bit more specific here? Dorston Graves,
Brad.
I don't
know why we're pretending we don't know who it was.
It's Brad, guys. It's Brad.
I was gonna say it's Don Bradley. They're like, just more Don Bradley. It was the only reason I'm back.
Because let me tell you here, I'm struggling. I'm struggling for some credit. All right. Everybody's always wanting to be like, oh, Brad's so nice. Screw Brad. All right.
With perfect hair.
We're the spiritual ones here, dang it.
With his perfect eyebrows and his perfect hair.
All I do is screw up intros, right?
It makes me sick.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, Dorston Graves, we were going to say how great your comment was until we realized that it gave room for jealousy and pride. No, I'm just kidding. So anyway, thank you very much, Dorston. You're a stud. We also got another really cool show today because guess what? We got the semi-annual Ward Awards going on now, hosted by none other than comedic editor at large Jonah Barnes here, giving us some really good, kind of like the Y Awards. We're the Ward Awards, the W Awards. I don't know. We can call ourselves something cool and catchy later. But before we go, actually, Jonah, why don't you just lead us off, dog? Tell us what's going on in this live stream. You got a handle on all this. Tell us what's going on. Take the wheel, my man.
Yes, well, the results are in. The votes have been tallied, and the Association for the Ward of Awarding really bodacious. I don't know what the acronym is. The members of the WardRadio Wigwam have voted. We've tallied the votes from across the world. We've translated the poll into multiple languages and gathered them up to determine which talks were the best and to hand out the awards for this year, the coveted Ward Awards. This has changed how conference is done, changed the entire format, the whole expectation of people giving talks. They want those Ward Awards.
Okay, now before we go into the absolute specifics here, I'm going to have everybody in the chat make sure that you like the stream as you're coming into the chat. Please make sure you like the stream. Also, we still got a policy that if you send us a super chat, we're going to do our best to read that super chat as long as it's appropriate and germane to the conversation and so on and so forth. We're going to do our best to read it online. Also, if you have a specific question for a specific person, please make sure that you mention who that specific person is, and we'll do our best to ask it to them. Before I get started, though, guys, I was talking to my boy Ben Criddle today, and he said it was really interesting how he thought that all of conference was back to basics. Before we dive into these awards that we got here, I want to know what you guys thought. Just tell what you thought. We'll start out with Brad. We'll do Luke. Then we'll do Jacob. Give us your 2 cents worth on what you thought about conference. Brad, go.
Dude, I just loved how focused it was on keeping our covenants, focusing on Christ, going to the temple, and making sure that we are committing ourselves. It's our choice, right, to choose Jesus Christ. It was awesome, just over and over and over. Super simple stuff. It was great.
This is why you're going to be apostle in 2028, bro.
No. I can tell you exactly why I won't be an apostle ever. You know the guy who went after Elder Kieran and talked about how he wished he had his accent?
Oh, yeah.
If that had been me, I would have just been doing an accent for the first like 10 lines of my talk and just like not said anything, just be doing a British accent and then switch out of it without saying anything.
Just don't even say anything.
Dude, it's
Like,
funny you mentioned that. My sister is a speech and language pathologist, and as part of speech and language pathology, she had to take a bunch of like linguistic courses, and one of them was accents and training people how to lose their accent or to gain an accent. And so as a joke one day, because she had an assignment where for 24 hours you had to speak with an accent for one of her classes. So when she switched religion courses, it was that day, like the third day of like her New Testament class or whatever. And so when she had to get up and introduce herself, she did it with an Australian accent. And everybody thought she was so cool. She was like, wait, I'm going to see if I can roll with this. She never lost her accent the entire semester until finally at the end of class, the last semester, she's like, all right, guys, I got to come clean. Like this whole semester I've been faking it. I'm actually an SLP student and I'm not really Australian. And like her guilt caught up with her for having faked. She was Aussie. And there were people like not a single person in her class thought she was like not really actually Australian. She was pretty good at it. So it's funny you mentioned that. So glad to know you would have done the exact same thing and commandeered the English accent. And frankly, I don't blame you. I may have done it while dating a couple times. But no, just kidding. Luke, what'd you think, bro? Hit us.
Oh, it was wonderful. Temples, 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 covenants, temples, and covenants. And it was great, and I love it. I moved from Utah, which is getting 2 more temples, crazy enough, over to Virginia, where the closest one is over 2 hours away. So it's more of a struggle now to make those appointments, to get those sessions happening. But I'm recommitted, gonna make them set up a schedule and get back to the house of the Lord more.
Yeah,
is it really 2 hours? What's your closest? Is
Richmond, Virginia.
Is 2 hours
However,
away?
yes.
Wait,
However,
in 2 hours you can cover the whole eastern seaboard. Their states are like itty bitty.
I know. However, Roanoke, which is hour away, give or take, got announced last general conference. So, yeah, he's doing a good job with that.
Okay, cool, sick, awesome. All right, Jacob, I know you love the covenants thing, and I saw your arch nemesis posting about it. So I'm sure that's going to be something we talk about today.
Well, actually,
Jacob, give us your top 5, Jacob. Rank your top 5.
I know I should have saying this because I've already admitted to everyone. See, I'm here today to make all of you who didn't watch General Conference the day of feel better about yourselves, knowing that Jacob Hansen did not watch Conference live.
By the way, do you know who else did it?
Is going to be digesting Conference over the course of this week. Now, I have caught a few of the talks, Elder Hollins in particular, which blew my mind. The bro basically just was like, I saw the Lord, and here's what he said.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
And he quotes, okay, I'm going to put a little plug for me in here. He quoted the very scripture that sits on the about page of my website right underneath my mission statement. Boom! It's this one.
Okay, your booms. Hey, Jacob, I hate to interrupt you, but your booms would sound a lot better if you were talking through your microphone and not through the USB camera on the top of your screen. But we could get back to that in a second.
Hold on, let me fix it.
I was just going to say.
This? Now I want to know what the scripture is at the top of his.
I know. I'm actually pulling it up.
Hold on. Let me see if.
There we go. There we go.
Oh,
better
that's
now?
so much better.
It's a lot better.
Oh my
now.
gosh, guys. Well, I feel bad. Everyone heard that. There's a crappy audio. Anyway, all right.
No, it's all good. So, what's your website? It's Thoughtful Faith.
Thoughtful-faith.com. I had to use a dash.
Guys, this is a good plug.
Okay, so so here is your website, so the audience
go to
can
the
see
about
it.
section,
and
I have my mission statement
section.
there of why I'm doing all the crazy stuff I do online.
Okay, and then Doctrine and Covenants 112.5, contend
Yep.
thou.
And here's
therefore.
what's an interesting thing about this scripture.
Okay.
What's the first word in it?
It says, contend thou. Oh.
We approve of that.
All right, so
Justification for every rude thing said.
exactly. Obviously, I don't believe in the spirit of contention, brethren.
Uh-huh.
I do not believe in contending with anger against one another, but certainly we are to contend with the evil ideas and falsehoods that destroy people's lives and souls.
Kind of like
And
lazy
so-
learning.
What was that?
Kind of like lazy learning. Would that be
Yeah.
one of those things? So, well, I just
Probably.
mentioned lazy learning because now that we found out you didn't watch Conference Live, I was no, I'm just kidding. Do you know who else did not watch Conference Live and in fact was coming home from Cancun and posted to get people's thoughts about Conference because she didn't watch it either?
I don't know who.
Julie Hanks. So it looks like you got all this in common,
hey,
bro.
me and
Next time you're fighting,
I'm cool with that.
you
Julie and I
got,
can find
yeah,
common
you guys are
ground.
like this, bro. See, you think you're like this, but you're really like this, dog. You know?
That's funny.
See, look
no, I actually, to be totally honest, I rarely watch all of it live. Sometimes we'll catch the Sunday morning session, but
Yeah.
I get it's sort of like overwhelming, and then I start like getting tired or whatever, nodding off but when I digest each one of them individually and kind of get some time to think about it, I actually genuinely get more out of it than if I'm sitting there trying to power through, 2 hours straight of spiritual feast. So I actually generally enjoy it. Anyway, the verse though says, "Contend thou therefore morning by morning and day after day. Let thy warning voice go forth. And when the night cometh, let not the inhabitants of the earth slumber because of thy speech." And I just think in the realm of public advocacy, in the realm of sort of what I do online, I'm trying to not say what I think, but more help people to understand the Lord as I've come to understand him and bear testimony of that to strengthen people. And so that is what I got out of his talk. And frankly, it was beautiful. And he's just a legend.
And I've got to read a super chat that is directly applying to this.
Hit it.
From Matthew X. He says, "Jacob, your relentless defense of the gospel has been essential in my return. I'll be getting rebaptized soon."
Whoa.
Oh my gosh.
Dude.
Beautiful.
Dude,
Thank you, Matthew.
Thank you so much. And
Wow.
shoot,
That's
man.
awesome to hear.
Maybe
That's
we should
fan-
all stop watching Conference,
Dude,
Be
No,
like
not-
Jacob.
that's not what
I
he
get
was
a-
doing.
I get
He's
so
so
much hate.
spiritual, doesn't even watch Conference. And here we are watching like a bunch of suckers,
I will say this though. I get a lot of hate from people, but when I get those kind of messages, I can't tell any of you guys who watch, and I know Ward Radio, you guys get all that all the time too. We
Brad
get these
does.
messages from you guys.
Brad does.
Brad,
are you
yeah, it's
talking
all
about?
Brad.
Hearted.
We got a blanket thank you. I don't know why you're attributing it to me.
And you stole it. You stole it
Brad
with your
Radio.
eyebrows and that swoosh wave in your Canadian lovely locks.
He
I have to
wakes
wear
up
hats
like that.
now because my hair is going away.
Yeah, dude. Okay, so
Well, anyway, I know we get haters, but I want everyone to know how much I appreciate that kind of stuff. It honestly touches me more than you'll ever know.
that's good to hear, man. Also, Brad, can you read off Jacob Mayberry's? He had a super chat question for Jacob. Before we move on to Jonah and his thoughts, could you read the super chat to Jacob?
Yeah, let's see. Jacob Mayberry. Up higher here. We got Jacob. Other than Trent Horn, do you have any debates in the works for the future?
Actually, potentially quite a few. I know one is probably going to be happening on the nature of morality with the one of the guys from Apologia Church, one of the guys that we debated before.
Nice.
I'm still friends with those guys that I debated there. Like we stay in touch fairly regularly. Oscar,
Really?
Nice.
Oscar and me are planning on one probably in May, I think is when that's going to happen. So
Oh,
Can I
wow.
request one?
sure.
I want to see you debate yourself on open theism.
Ooh, that'd be a good one.
I'm
Oh,
bored.
I
weird
I-
one.
You want to get freaking people swinging. I think I'm in the minority opinion in the church around my open theism, but that'd be a
What
fun one
on
if
earth is
someone wants to
open theism, and how are you entertained by such a boring activity
That
as
sounds so boring.
controlled and formal debates, man. No, I want to go in rock'em sock'em boppers. Not with like, you now have 2 minutes. Well, my opponent actually mischaracterized what I had to say. Like, they're the most crappy and boring things to watch. Formal debates.
I know.
Except
Carden,
for
you
the
want to watch a
Englishmen.
street fight.
Except
You
for
wanna
the
watch a
yeah,
street
but you
fight, and
lose
I
all
wanna
your
do a
street
boxing
fights, so
match.
I don't want to watch those either. So like, no, I'm just kidding. I'm totally just kidding.
Savage.
Oh,
No,
I'm
I
just
want to
kidding.
see a Taiwanese parliament erupt, like how they do it there, right? They're all debating, and then some guy
notebooks at
starts
each other.
swinging. That's what I want to see, a hockey fight.
Freaking, I just watched a documentary in between conferences how Brigham Young smashed his little cane down on the St. George Temple pulpit, and they still haven't fixed the spot where it made an indentation in the pulpit. That's an alpha president of the church right now.
Awesome.
You know, none of this like, he was carried in on a freaking chair before he's smashing holes in the freaking podium. That is as alpha as it gets right there. The Andrew Tate of the 18th century.
It took
right
them
there.
150 years to remodel it, right? They just finally finished the remodel after Brigham
Yeah.
kicked down the doors.
So
we have a couple other super chats.
Oh, catch us up on the super chats, bro.
We have Jack Norton, who says that Utah Mormon mommy bloggers got the hardest hit this conference. You love to see it. Dude,
Ooh.
Jack's totally right. He's 100% right.
Oh, really?
No. Not the good ones, though.
Oh, well, not the good ones. Though.
There are
But,
good
you know.
mommy bloggers.
But then it's explained later in the comments. Somebody says, "Oh, they did," and somebody replied and said, "All the no garments mommy bloggers got hardest hit." Yes, they did.
that's rough.
Clarification.
Mhm.
That's
And then
rough.
Kim Young, who is apparently sending us $5 from New Caledonia, CA. I'm
Awesome.
assuming that's Caledonian dollars there. Kim
Yeah.
Young.
New Caledonia,
I-
the Scottish Hebrides.
It's
know
a
it's
I don't
Canada.
know.
beautiful. I want to go sailing there. That's like a amazing place.
Don't we all? Don't we all? He says the next Nemo the Mormon video will be complaining about how the church audit guy did not reference the Ward Radio allotment. Yes, absolutely. We take such a chunk out of their budget. They don't even mention us in conference, Like, we're
Dude.
not even here.
Nemo.
So I gotta tell you, the I can't tell you the I can't tell you the
You
the
can't tell
account.
us.
No, I can't tell you the account. I'm trying to remember what account I saw it on, but it was absolutely hilarious. It was this meme where somebody said like Mormons during conference, and it showed a family literally asleep on a couch. All of them had their feet, kicked up on the ottomans, and like 3 out of 4 of them were just like asleep, dozed off. And then it says ex-Mormon, anti-Mormons watching conference, and it was SpongeBob with the binoculars, and he's saying like, write that down. He just said, it's just like it would be funny if it weren't so 100%
So
true, So anyway,
And see, we need to watch with as much fervor as they do.
I know. You can learn from anybody.
It's hard to love the church as much as the antis hate the church.
dude, that's funny.
If we loved the church as much as they hate it, we'd all be exalted. Just
Yeah, it's
translate
true.
it.
We'd be translated. Yeah.
That should be our motto.
No,
we striving to love the church as much as they hate it.
Dude, that's
I
funny.
literally went on X and saw somebody saying Elder Oak said such and such at journal conference, and I was like, I don't think he did, but I actually don't quite remember exactly what he said there. So that was encouragement for me to go back and reread Elder Oak's
Hey,
talk.
well, don't worry. They can make a fake Chat GPT expose on debunking conference talks like homeboy. What was the guy that made all of the fake Chat
Yeah.
GPT? Come on, you were there, Brad.
Beyond
We debunked
Kyle
the Brigham
Glenn
Young.
Bishop.
Yeah, Kyle
Yeah.
Glenn Bishop
Oh,
when
that
he got
one guy.
busted.
Response episode incoming.
Okay, so
Dude,
tell
he
me.
completely fabricated, like
My favorite
100%
thing-
fabricated. all those things.
Save it. We're gonna cover it. I got all the
Okay,
clips,
we'll
I got
cover
all
it
the
on an
quotes,
episode?
I got the screenshots.
man.
Don't worry.
Okay.
I just love
Don't worry.
the last 5 minutes of his 3 hours of response. Okay, sorry, I'll stop.
Zip it.
Okay,
Save
that's
it for
funny.
the show.
So all right, Jonah, give us your thoughts, and then we're gonna dive into the Ward Awards, bro.
Well, thoughts from conference. Conference was a banger. It was a banger of a conference. The church really upped its game. We saw something that we're gonna get to some things. My general impression of conference was covenants, temples, temples. Holland was. I'm so glad to see Holland there, dude. It was crazy when they panned and they were like, doing the sustainings, and they're like, the Quorum of the 12 Apostles, Jeffrey R. Holland, and then they slowly pan, and I was like, all these dudes are new. Like, I remember when all these guys were called. I'm so old.
Jonah, I almost remember when all of them were called.
I know. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm
crazy.
so old. All these dudes. But it
See,
was
I was
awesome.
actually
Nelson
thinking the opposite. I was looking at it and I was like, dude, as soon as they said the closing prayer, 3 wheelchairs went up onto the stand. We are about to have a cataclysmic changing of the guard. All right. We are literally about to have, there's 3 dudes on such borrowed time. The second that they say the closing prayer, you got the Mormon Secret Service running up there, not to protect them from dudes bum rushing the stage, but to make sure they don't fall forward out of the red into the, the other red carpet, and so I was like, within 18 months there will be a drastically different church, based off of what I saw.
Well, Elder Holland straight up said, he's like, I'm not sure if I'm going to be with you weeks or months, and I'm going, or years, right?
Nope.
Come on. He didn't say that.
And that month's almost felt like an afterthought, like,
yeah.
like,
and I was
wait.
Well, anytime you have someone who's just as legendary as Jeffrey R. Holland, who you're not supposed to have favorites, but I'm sorry, he might be my favorite. And
dude, listening to you gush, is there any doubt?
Oh, dude, I love Elder Holland. And I mean, anytime you get an apostle up there sharing in general conference like a near-death experience, I'm sorry, that's a banger way to start off general conference.
Yeah, that was the very start. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
like, ooh, we are in for it.
All right, so we got a couple of super chats, and then we're going to jump right into the Y Awards. Assuming, have you finished saying what you had to say, Jonah, about your thoughts on your thoughts on conference?
We're going to go over the awards. I haven't had time to really digest conference. I've been poring over the votes and the tallies coming in from around the world, translating them into English, totaling them up for the Ward Awards. So,
okay, cool.
Yeah.
So anyway, Stalin Cespedes says, I was disappointed that Brad was not called as a general authority. Hopefully next conference he is called as a third counselor in the first presidencia or something, which I think it's like Speaker of the House. You don't even have to be an elected member of the Senate. I think to be in the first presidency, you can just go straight there, even without U.S. citizenship, which I think really should be a requirement for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. If not, just not just to get rid of Uchtdorf. But anyway, no, I just I'm totally killing.
Let alone
Cardin, we're gonna lose our funding if you keep this
right. Our funding is in
We'll
jeopardy,
just have to
Cardin,
take
when you
some
talk
from
like
baby killer Raphael Warnock that he donated to, and then maybe we'll have plenty of money left over. You know what I'm saying?
Let it go.
Oh, let it go.
Hey, that was another story from conference, though. Did you notice that in the Q15, there's what? Gong, who's half Chinese, Suarez, who's Brazilian, Renland, who's Swedish.
Yeah.
Who else did they have? Kieran, who's British, and then Uchtdorf,
and raised in Saudi Arabia for part of his life, right?
We've almost got 50% of the Quorum of the 12 Apostles as being foreign, essentially. Yeah. It's crazy.
So Jacob Mayberry asks, would you guys agree that most complaints against the church qualify as first world problems? Hashtag first world problems. What do you guys think about, what do you think? Okay.
Without a doubt.
Okay,
100%.
Riley and I were talking about that actually, about how first world so many of the complaints get on when people are complaining about the gospel. It's like, guys, what if you just lived the gospel instead of like looking for things to complain about? By the way, Cardin, one of my favorite talks, Elder Uchtdorf's, talked about this very thing. I think that a lot of these first world problems come from people who are seeking to find problems, because seek and ye shall find, it's a basic principle. If you are seeking to find something wrong, you're going to find it. And it doesn't mean that those problems don't exist. But I think the majority of them would probably be solved if we were all living the gospel a little bit better.
Yeah, I hear you. Or if you are flying a plane and you are going. I was trying to make a plane analogy there, but I can't keep the accent going long enough. And it started going into Thomas S. Monson territory because I'm not really good at impressions. So I just put an end to that real fast. However, you are correct. You are correct. Anybody else? Is it all just hashtag first world problems? What do you think?
100%.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of them are.
I would say
it does.
The problems that they point to are so much smaller than the solutions that the gospel is offering to people's lives. It's like missing the amazing benefits of the gospel in people's lives and what they lose when they lose it to complain over first world problems. That's my perspective on it.
Okay, cool. Sick. Well, really fast, gonna just catch up on some super chats here. Fidget the Crazy says Scotland with like 20 A's.
Yeah.
So I don't know how long.
No,
I
I think what she said was Scotland.
Scotland.
Oh, now I get
Down
it.
with the English.
Now I get it. Now I get it.
That was their pushback. They called a British apostle, but they were like, "It's all right, Scotland. We'll give you a temple." Meanwhile, the Irish are over there with Robert Boylan crying.
Yeah. So now
But he
like,
left him. He's in Utah now.
I know. I actually met Robert this weekend. And had dinner
Nice.
with him.
all right. The let me see. Captain Aaron 1, welcome the Telestial Kingdom. Could you welcome him to the WardRadio Wigwam, Ward Clerk and Ward First Counselor Jonah Barnes?
We are thrilled to have received the records for Brother Captain Aaron. All those is Aaron the last name? Is it Brother Aaron or is it Brother Captain?
Oh, that's a good
All those
question.
who
We should do. No, it should be Brother Aaron, like Brother Joseph. It wasn't Brother Smith.
Yeah, first name is Captain.
I think his first name is Captain.
Last name is Aaron.
Yeah. All those who would like to welcome Brother Captain Aaron into the Ward Radio worship, please do so by the uplifted W.
All right. Boom
Putting a W
shakalaka.
in the chat.
Also, we've got a final super chat here before we jump in. Anyone else notice that the apostles had Cadbury eggs in jars next to the chairs? I didn't notice that. Proof that they get tired easily during conference. Did anybody else notice any Cadbury eggs?
What?
I have no idea what they're talking
I did
about.
not notice that.
Oh.
I did not see that.
Okay, well, I think Jacob is going to appreciate this one. Kim Young follows up that last super chat saying they need to have a session of conference with a disclaimer warning, you're going to be offended. Ooh, rough.
Oh,
So do you think there should be like MPAA ratings in conference where like, there's PG-13, there's G. That's where all the mommy bloggers can show up is to the G and PG. You're great. You never need to fix anything. And then by the time we start, getting into the Intense Relief Society stuff, then it's like, PG-13. And then once it's guys, you suck. And it's everything they used to have in priesthood.
Cardin.
Then what?
Then you get to the prophet and it's rated R for call to repentance.
It's all of that. That's funny, man. That's funny. Okay, cool. Well, all right, Jonah, I believe the floor is yours, man. We're all caught up on super chats right now. Why don't you introduce our audience to the second annual April 2024 Ward Awards, my man.
Yes. Well, Cardin Ellis, Bishop, we're going to have you be kind of manning the screen back there and throwing up some of these things. So I'm just gonna pour into it. The Ward Awards, the highly anticipated and much coveted Ward Awards for April 2024, begin with Elder Kieran, the new apostle, comes right out of the gate, Rookie of the Year, winning the most British talk ever given in a general conference. Congratulations to Elder Kieran. He had tea and crumpets on the podium with himself as he gave the most British talk ever. He said queuing.
That's true. He said queuing.
Yeah.
I had to explain
Right?
that to my family.
Yeah, my kids are like, "What is he talking about?" So they didn't think we needed a translator for that talk. I don't know why they left us without a translator. Even the Mexican guys were like, they were speaking with a thick accent in English best they could, but Elder Kieran thinks he doesn't need anything. He just gets up there and speaks some foreign language. Pretty rude. But also, then we have the most Neapolitan talk ever given in general conference, given by Elder Massimo De Feo. I believe was his name. The most Neapolitan talk. Now,
Massimo De Feo. Massimo.
This award goes to whoever gives 3 talks in one talk. Massimo knew this was the only talk he was ever going to give in conference, and so he packed it full. Also, anybody who begins the talk with, I am constantly on the edge of going blind, deserves to be listened to. Like, right? He comes out and he's like, I am 1 month from being blind for the rest of my life. You're like, what? And then he gives this whole talk about spiritual vision. It was fantastic. So Massimo De Feo gets, but it was so much in there. I remember thinking like, oh my gosh, you could make this into 3 talks. He knew he had one shot. He was going to give it his best. So
Dude,
nice
does
job,
anybody
Massimo.
else think they can't? I want this guy to get called to the higher up position because he just looks gangster. Like, I mean, yeah, I know you put an ice cream cone in his hand and stuff, but that dude looks straight up thug. If there was a prophet that was going to start, like the Godfather.
Mob.
If there was a prophet that was going to start the Mormon Mafia, it would be this guy.
Kind of looks,
with that Brazilian accent, he's like, oh yeah, so nice burning the chapels you're making there. You know, it'd be a shame if something happened to your van that we saw in the church security system. You know what I'm saying? Like nothing would get past this kid.
He's actually Italian. He's got it.
No, dude, I don't know what he is. He's like Scarface mixed with the Godfather. And, rocking.
Kind of true, though.
Like it totally is. Like, if anybody would start that paramilitary Mormon organization I'd been waiting for like 25 years, just to just sweep through the third world and stop all the child armies and the bad drug dealers. You know what I'm saying? Like, it would be this guy. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe
this
he
cat
has.
right
Maybe
here.
he has. Maybe he's doing it. We don't even know it. Look at him. He's so coy.
Yeah.
He's the type of dude who he would be doing that and he wouldn't even know it.
Yeah, dude, and like he would straight up extrajudicially choose the demise of somebody and then go just bear his testimony the next day in conference, and you wouldn't even know. Just like Al Pacino at that baptism in the Catholic Church while his goons are out, whacking the heads of the 5 families in The Godfather. This cat would pull it off, and you wouldn't even think twice.
So we're half an hour into the stream, and we've already accused the sitting general authority of cold-blooded murder.
No,
not
of cold-blooded murder. Just ordering people to commit.
Just protecting the family.
Right?
Oh, you're going to go
Dude,
far, Brad.
bro.
You're going to go far.
Are we not all brothers and sisters?
2028.
Are we not all brothers and sisters ... in Christ? You know what I'm saying?
All right.
So next one. Next award.
So DeFeo did great. The next award is the Onion Chopper Award. The Onion Chopper, coveted Onion Chopper Award. Last General Conference went to Elder Uchtdorf, who walked away with several awards last time. This goes to Elder Holland. Elder Holland, who is possibly the greatest orator in the church since Benson. I mean, he's a fantastic speaker. Starts off his talk, near-death experience, talking about how he loses his wife and how he might not be joining us again. And the judges could be biased because I love Holland, and I would miss that guy so much because he's fantastic.
Holland is that perfect mix of love and law. He is someone who will I think he, again, in my sort of view, he emphasizes this public advocacy and private ministry in the most beautiful way, where people know that he loves them, but he also doesn't compromise on doctrine. And you can find him throwing down, but also you can find him giving the biggest, warmest hug I think anyone could ever get from a speaker.
He's like Jacob in the Book of Mormon, like he lets you know how much he loves you, but he also brings all the doctrine with it, and it's awesome. And to add the cherry on top to the Onion Award, the kiss from Elder Uchtdorf to Holland's forehead, oh man, that just melted my heart.
Very
that was a manly kiss. That's
Elder Holland bugs me more than all of them, because
oh my god!
And here's the reason why
we're gonna fight.
Here's the reason why. He doesn't
So, the
have.
next award.
Okay. He doesn't have something that I can ostensibly dismiss him on, which means I have to listen to him. And the fact that I don't have something that I can just for face value, just go like, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Elder Gong gets up there. It's like, I don't want to bore myself to tears. You know what I'm saying? The other guy gets up and talks. The guy that had the integrity talk was the slowest speaker I'd ever heard in my life. At 2.5 times on the church player, he sounded like a normal person. When I actually, I was wondering if there was a glitch in my system. When I actually slowed it down to 1.0, it was like, and then we decided to go to the chapel. When I put it up at 2.5 times speed, he was still talking slower than I am speaking right now. So Elder Holland does not have something that I can immediately just make fun of him as. And as a comedian, that frustrates me because pride is a sin of comparison. And I don't have something that I can comparatively mock him for. Therefore, he's the one that bothers me the most. I did hear that he was a registered Democrat, which does bother me, but he hasn't been busted making large donations to that party yet, so, like Uchtdorf did. So he's not in. And the JFK Dems, the JFK Dems, they're off the hook. My grandpa was one of those. I'm actually kind of one of those. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that. That's fine. That's fine. There's nothing that we can make fun of Holland for, which honestly kind of bothers me.
Yeah, he's got you there. He's got you there.
Okay, next Y award. So he was the Onion Chopper Award.
Chopper Award. Fantastic job, Elder Holland. The next award is the coveted Honey Badger Award. The Honey Badger Award, ladies and gentlemen. And this year, and you know what? Oh, I'm embarrassed because I'm forgetting this guy's name.
Oh, God.
Matthew. Oh, shoot.
Bail him out, Luke. Bail him out. Who's this guy's name? The Honey Badger.
His face is all covered by the rest of the beams, so I can't even really see who
I remember
it
the name
is.
of
Do you know who it looks like? Doesn't this look like the guy on Breaking Bad? Doesn't this look like Heisenberg on Breaking Bad? Or did I just out myself as the guy watching the inappropriate television with my kids?
Is that Mark L.
Most people
Is
watched
that it?
Say it one more time.
No, that's not Pace.
No,
that's the
not right.
Sunday school leader. That's who is this dude?
We can't give an award to a guy whose name we don't know, Jonah.
Well,
Shane
I
Bowen.
can't tell who he is behind.
Oh, Bowen.
Shane
Bowen.
Okay.
That's his name. Sorry, Shane Bowen.
It's
Shane
Bowen.
I got to translate these things
It's
from all different
Bowen.
languages.
It's
okay?
Bowen, not Bowen.
Or it
Bowen.
was
I could
Bowen,
not-
actually, Jacob. It's Bowen.
I could not recognize him through the glasses and the snake.
Okay, well, let's explain.
I
So
love Shane Bowen, by the way.
Elder Bowen won the Honey Badger. No, I'm sorry. No, Elder Bowen, whatever, won the Honey Badger Award because he gets up there. If you have not listened to this dude's talk, you've got to listen to this dude's talk. He gets up, just like kicks down the door, grabs the mic, and he's like, yeah, everybody's like, oh, don't share spiritual experiences because they're like too sacred. And like when you bless people, you're just kind of blessing them like just for fun and stuff. And he's like, screw that. I resurrected my daughter from the dead. Boom. What you going to do? What you going to do? I'm the Honey Badger. Don't even care. Honey Badger don't care. Honey Badger don't even care. He got up. Bowen got up. Didn't even care. And just resurrected his daughter. Boom.
No,
and then
he did
tells
too.
everybody about it.
Dude,
There was two. There was another
bringing
one.
back from the dead. 2 raisings of the dead in that
Was
talk.
it his grandfather?
Yeah.
It was, yeah.
Didn't
That
even
must
care.
have been
You
when
know-
I was asleep. I fell asleep for 2 45-minute increments, so I missed the Honey Badger. I just noticed that if you look on the screen, he totally looks like Bryan Cranston from Breaking Bad. You know what I'm saying? He totally looks like Bryan Cranston from Breaking Bad. The Honey Badger is Bryan Cranston from Breaking
Dude,
Bad.
amazing talk. Amazing talk. You're listening to it and you're like, you're seeing what's coming. And you're like, is he really going to, oh my gosh. And he just,
He's
But
doing
man,
it.
what a powerful witness of miracles. For real.
Fantastic.
Like,
By the way,
So
we
good.
kind of need that. Like, just like in this conference, there was a big time theme about, hey, we're going back to basics because the basics are good here. I talked to my boy, Ben Criddle, and he said, you know what I got out of conference was he was like, enough crazy little details. We need people to go back to basics here. Like, can we just make sure that we're doing a good job, like attending church and lifting where we stand in our wards? Can we get, just temple attendance back here? Like, let's wear our garments. Let's actually go to, temple. Let's serve our neighbor here, and just go back to basics because the basics are good. I definitely kind of, yeah.
I was going to say something on the theme of the temples. I went to the temple just before conference, and after going, I was having a conversation with my dad recently, and I had this analogy of like, we're building these temples all over the world, and we keep talking about, okay, we're all excited about it. I like to think of them like factories that help to churn out saints.
Like big
You go in
factories,
there-
not little factories. Big
That's
factories.
Big factory.
Okay, cool.
You got to be careful with that analogy. Anyway, but oh man, I have so many jokes that are inappropriate that I'm not going to go down. But we go into the temples, and out come these people that are changed because they go in there to go through this process where they ritualistically become a different kind of person with a different set of priorities and orientation in the world, and then they leave that temple to go into the world to do good. And I like to think of this idea that we're establishing these all over the world. And it's like, as people attend and keep those covenants, like the world will get better and better. And like, we're the ones, like, that's the work we're a part of. And that's
Well,
awesome.
I agree with you. And speaking of that, like awesome, one of the things I got out of it was, I love how you guys said, hey, there was 2 stories about like raising from the dead and resurrecting. And I think the modern priesthood holding man and the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints really has a pathetic belief in miracles, if not just a lack thereof. Like, and I love how McConkie said, dude, quit this garbage about, going in there and saying if it's the Lord's will and like couching everything in asterisks and caveats. Go in there, exercise your priesthood, and heal these people. And I kind of feel like the ultimate, priesthood act done by Jesus Christ himself was indeed what? Raising Lazarus from the dead. You know what I'm saying? Raising the widow of non-bread is the Indian food. Nain. The widow of Nain. That's what I was looking for. Like just have the guts to believe that your priesthood is real and go in there and do something about a problem if you're called as a priesthood holder, So I kind of dig that. Like there's like, okay, let's take church seriously. Let's go back to basics. To a certain extent, I kind of think some of these miraculous stories about the priesthood doing miracles are necessary because sometimes people, they falter in the belief in miracles. Brad.
And there's a super chat that applies directly to this from Maddie Hall Newey.
Okay.
And she says, Bowen's talk about priesthood was powerful. Thank you for sharing all your testimonies. Mine has deepened since watching you guys for the past 2 years.
Oh,
dude,
thanks.
Thank you, Maddie. Dude,
Wow.
This is so good. Getting this feedback from people that
No,
what we're doing is actually working.
She means watching Brad for the past 2 years. We know what she means.
Jonah.
Okay. We know what she
Brad,
means.
No.
of course, Brad's
It means-
reading these super chats. He's like, all these people love
Hey,
it.
actually, Brad, can you catch us up?
Bowen's talk.
Hey, Brad, can you catch us up really fast?
Yeah,
And just-
I got you.
Okay.
Next up, we have Kevin Nelson. He says, the Exmos are flailing right now as they witness all of their atheist idols converting back to Christianity.
Ooh.
And that's a fascinating thing that's been happening. There's been a bunch of people like Dawkins recently, right?
I was
Jacob,
gonna say
you
it.
gotta say it. Go.
This is mine. I have a thing. I'm telling you, everybody, the new atheist movement was born on September 11th, 2001, when all the new atheists came out and started writing books about how religion is terrible because it creates Islamic extremists.
But
And
they didn't
it
have the guts to
died.
say they didn't have the guts to say it against radical Islam because they didn't want a fatwa put against them. So they started just talking about radical Christianity, which is really just milquetoast suburbanism.
Dawkins and Harris. keep going after
Dawkins and
Islam.
Harris were willing
Once,
to.
Yes.
once,
But-
and then Harris once on Bill Maher's show. That was it.
No, he did with Peterson too.
Okay.
Well, listen. Regardless, the point is this. The new atheist movement, everyone, is dead. It died on Easter Sunday,
Yeah, for
2024,
real.
when Richard Dawkins, the author of The God Delusion, the champion of the new atheist movement, told the world that he considers himself a cultural Christian and how much he appreciates, he says not a believing Christian, but he appreciates Christianity. And he was talking about how he loves Christmas and hymns. And it was hilarious because Jordan Peterson or somebody trolled him and was like, hey, Richard, you do realize you don't get the beautiful churches or the hymns or Christmas without people actually going to the churches. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's
word.
like our civilization's been built on this, dude. But anyway, new atheism is dead. Let's declare victory and move on.
Okay.
Now, there is going to be that one guy in the chat that does the actually, and this was not the first time.
I think that what he's about to say, because he just froze there for a second, was I think what Luke was about to say is that there's been many times where Richard Dawkins has been on the record making a passing comment about how he considers himself a cultural Christian. But he's never done it to the same degree that he has now. It never got trapped in the zeitgeist as much as it did. And they were always pathetic passing comments. Now I think he's realized the effects of like what he's done and realized it's ruined his society, and he's starting to experience the blowback, you know. And then so I think he was more vocal about it this time. Luke, would you say that I embodied what you were going to say well before you froze for a solid minute there?
Exactly. I froze. I'm back now.
Okay.
But that was it. Yeah. Somebody said he's cutting the branch of the tree he's sitting on, and it's starting to wobble, and he's all of a sudden gotten nervous.
That's a great comment right there.
Perfect.
Well, I don't want to outdo you guys here, but did any of you see the movie called Expelled from 2008?
I did.
No.
Do you remember the interview with Richard Dawkins?
I do.
Dude, I was
At the very
in, like,
end of
high
the
school.
film. Thanks, Brad. Oh, thanks. That was
Sorry.
Bunch of
Yeah.
babies.
jeez. At the very end of
For
the film,
children, Jonah.
at the very end of the film, they're talking to Richard Dawkins, and they say some people believe that since we don't have no idea how life could possibly have started on Earth, that maybe it was brought here from some other world. And he goes, "Yeah, that sounds like it. That sounds like a possibility."
Yeah.
You're like, "Wait, what? So you believe in intelligent design?" Because that's exactly, now that's not Christianity, but that's totally Mormonism. So Richard Dawkins has been flirting.
Either that or it's the guy with crazy hair on Ancient Aliens on the History Channel. It's one of those two. You know, Sukalos,
guy.
I think
That
his
guy's the
name
bomb.
is Sukalos. So, all right. So, a Sombra Noite.
You want me to catch up on?
Yes.
Wait,
catch
don't
us
read
up.
this one. What did you think about Sister? Do not read that. I see through your sophomoric lies. We are not going to read that on the air. Next one.
Oh,
We've acknowledged it.
I get what's
We
going
see it.
on.
Next up, Polynikes 2000. Question: WardRadio's Highlander Jacob Hansen. Given that there can only be one, when is your debate with John DeLynn? I want to see your rhetorical broadsword work.
I've been in communications with John to have a discussion, and he is very hard to respond back to things. And so he has been, I'm sorry, dragging things along for months now. So I don't know if it'll happen, but I'm trying my best.
Okay. All right.
Nice.
Jonah, continue
And then-
with. Oh, sorry, Brad. keep
Oh,
going.
we've got one more. Kim Young says, I know it's time for a snack when Gong starts talking. Elder Jack Gerard's talk was the best. No, Gong is awesome. I love that guy.
Dude,
Actually,
He's the
Gong won the award this year for most improved.
Oh, hey!
Yeah.
Hey!
He won the most improved award. Yeah.
Such
A huge honor for Elder Gong. You know why?
That's like
Because
the
I can
effort
actually
award.
remember-
That's like the effort award in elementary school that the stupidest kid in the class always got, so he could get up there. You know,
I love Elder Gog, but I do understand some of this commentary.
Bro!
Look, people, let's
No.
dude, you know that guy's a spy. You know he's a spy because he
Carton,
has the
what is your evidence for this?
He has the
'Cause that
most.
sounds pretty racist.
He's the
without
most.
Jonah,
No,
what-
I don't even know what.
what's-
I don't even know what race he is. He just has the most forgettable personality. Like, if you're gonna hire somebody to be covert, like, what did they say in Ocean's 13 when Matt Damon's character had to walk in and fake that he was part of, you know, the gambling board of the government? They said, okay, your job is that they forget you the second they stop talking to you, right? Like, your job is to be so milquetoast and so boring that you're instantaneously forgettable, right? That dude is a covert operative for somebody somewhere because he is literally literally the most stealth, completely forget. If he bagged your groceries 10 minutes before conference, you wouldn't remember his face in a mug line if you had to. He could be your door greeter in your home ward, and you would walk in, he would hand you the newsletter, he'd give you a humbeck, he'd say, "Bless you, brother," and you'd be like, was it a guy that gave me this? They were just so soft-spoken. And so,
somebody in the,
he's covert, dude. He's like,
We lost our funding. Our funding is gone.
well, our funding-
Wait. I've got to say something. I love Elder Gong. His talk this year is in like my top 5 of favorite talks.
So
It was
somebody in the
awesome.
chat said Elder Gong won the most potential award. Which is very funny. So let's just get something straight here. Okay, look. These awards, they're just jokes, guys. Well, they're just jokes. All right. Elder Gong, great guy. He was not called because he's a great orator. No one is called because they're a great speaker. On the contrary, right? We don't have that in our church where you're paid a lot of money because you give really good talks or whatever. So this is we're just ribbing. We're ribbing people.
I've realized something. I've told people that you see a bishop or something, and maybe they aren't super well theologically versed, or they have whatever things, or they're boring speakers or whatever. I always keep in mind that I have found that the person who gets called is usually the person who's the first one to show up to help do service. That's who the Lord will call to help, are the willing and the ones who love other people. I don't look at the apostles as the ones who are the most, perfect in all these different ways. But I will say this. In any time I've either interacted with them with limited interactions I've ever had, or met other people who have, there is a clear impression that is made on them that these are good, genuine men who would be the first person to help you if you were in need. And I think that the Lord calls apostles that are to go and to minister to the world. So that makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah, they're not called because they've got silver tongues. That is not why they're called. So we're just laughing.
His talk was awesome. This year's talk was really, really good. Like all of those things, say whatever you want, but this talk was so good. Recognizing that like our afflictions can become consecrated for our gain. That's such a key principle in the Book of Mormon, and he illustrated it super well in a way that like I think all of us need, especially Carden. And this is something.
Well, the apostles I also think have different personalities because people are different. And I have found that where I've been like, I think Elder Gong doesn't necessarily resonate with me, but someone else had an impact on them. And so for me, there are certain speakers that reach me more, but I have to remember there are other speakers that are going to reach other people more. Like not every talk and personality is meant for someone who's like me, who has my weird interests.
Speaking of weird interests, we have another super chat. I'm just kidding. I shouldn't have prefaced that with this, but our next super chat up is from Charlotte Barnes. She says, Jonah Barnes wins the Dreamiest Smile Award.
Yes.
I agree. I agree.
No, you actually have a killer smile, Jonah. It's awesome.
I'm a married man, but that Jonah Barnes.
Okay,
Yes.
I just realized my alarm went off. I have to take my cancer pill really fast. So you guys keep talking. I'm back in 30 seconds.
Sounds
you got
good.
it.
Keep
Well,
going.
if you look in the
or-
chat, there's a number of people in the chat who are giving a lot of love to Elder Gong. People saying he was my
Well
bishop,
deserved.
he was my area president. When Carden needs to have Elder Gong on when he becomes the prophet. His Christmas devotional was fantastic. They're saying they love Elder Gong. Look, we also love Elder Gong. We also love Elder Gong.
We love Elder Gong.
Our only interaction with him is the talks that he gives. And I have a hard time remembering anything he's ever said. So that's why, okay, but he's an apostle, okay? He's an apostle.
I really think there is something to what Jacob said, though, that like certain people resonate with you because something about Elder Gong's energy really resonates well with me. I really appreciate everything he's got to say. And like even just his choice of what to talk about, this is one of my favorite scriptures, 2 Nephi 2:2, right? That the Lord will consecrate our afflictions for our gain. That Go ahead, Jacob.
I was going to say, Brad, that as I have kind of voiced a like, Elder Gong is one that I don't necessarily get as big of resonance with. I get the exact same reaction from so many people that you're giving, Brad. Like, what are you talking about? He's amazing. He's fantastic.
Yeah.
And again, it's like, yes, and that's great, because I think that if every apostle doesn't entertain you or reach you the same way, it's kind of like, well, maybe that's because we're a diverse group of saints in diverse life situations with diverse sets of problems, and different people have maybe certain perspectives that they bring to the table and talents that they have that reach people differently.
And honestly, I think that's part of why we have 12 apostles, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because Christ called a bunch of people to help edify one another, and they're going to reach people in different ways.
And not everyone is going to be as excited about Porter Rockwell's method of doing things as I
am.
Because people are boring. Porter Rockwell was the best. He was the
He
goat.
was the bomb. He was so
Okay,
great.
so and also if anybody here listening to we're not done with the Ward Awards. We're not even halfway done with the Ward Awards.
Mm-hmm.
But if there's if anybody wants to go back and look at some of the summaries of these things, the church newsroom has really cool pages for each talk and each speaker. And at the bottom of the page, I think this is brilliant. It'll say what the person has done since last conference. So it's not just like, here's their talk, and that's the only thing that we know about them. Yeah, it'll say, here's a summary of Uchtdorf's talk. Here are the things that he has done since last conference. He flew out there. He dedicated this. He reorganized that. He would, and it'll list some of the things that they've done. That's why these people are called to these positions, not to impress us for their much speaking, but to be out there serving and building the church worldwide. And they work darn hard at it. So we only get it.
So cool. I want to go look that over, just because there's a part of me that's super curious about, like, well, what is Uchtdorf out doing for the past 6 months? And if you understand it, it's kind of like, whoa, like these guys they're not just preparing their talk and
they work
thinking about all the social
hard.
issues that we're thinking about.
Yeah.
Well, you'll actually find that they, like the apostles, are assigned to certain things, and usually they're talking about things pertinent to their assignment. So Elder Uchtdorf, his big missionary work talk was while he was over the missionary department, and Elder Cook's big temple and family history work talk was while he was over the family and temple history department.
And Elder Oaks has been called as the enforcer since day one.
Well, and Quentin L. Cook as well. He has given talks more about how the church, in this one, he was talking about people saying that the church, well, not the church, but that we're all determined, everything is determined. But he was saying, no, we actually have agency. He's been over the PR stuff for a while, so he has a lot more of that outside input coming in. So it's interesting how they don't just they're not just sitting in the upper room of the temple and kind of ponderizing stuff, except for the one guy who said the ponderizing talk. He was doing that. But
the 70s are.
So while Cardin's gone, the Ward Radio, we're starting news, and so we got an inside scoop, because what not many people realize is that there's general conference, but before general conference there's the leader session. So all the 70s fly in, the Q12 gets together, the first presidency that can make it all makes it, and they gather in the conference center. And so we got an inside scoop. If Cardin was here, he would put up a picture of Jordan Peterson behind the pulpit at the conference center. So just keep that in your mind. And we couldn't get the whole address. But we were able to get little bits and pieces here. So I'm going to share what we got. This is exclusive breaking news from Ward Radio. So here we have Jordan Peterson. He said, you might think, well, I'll be happy living in the terrestrial world. So it's fine, you think that, and you'll discover what kind of hell that mindset creates for you. It's not pretty. And this is something Carl Jung understood implicitly. So there's one quote from Jordan Peterson at the leadership session. Once again, this is breaking news from Ward Radio News here. And then here's our second quote. We were able to get a little bigger one this time. I don't know if I'll try and do the accent the whole time, but here we have it. Jordan Peterson actually gave a sermon on the Book of Mormon. It was pretty impressive. He's in First Nephi. He likes to take his time. He's only in Exodus in the Bible, so of course he's still in First Nephi and the Book of Mormon still. But he said, he said, "So here we have Nephi, the archetype of he who responds to the call to adventure. And he's faced with the task of obtaining the plates, which symbolize wisdom and divine guidance. So there we have he who responds to the call of adventure is the only one who has the possibility of obtaining that which is of the highest value. But Nephi is confronted with this formidable obstacle in the form of Laban, this tyrant who stands in the way of the treasure. That's the dragon. And Nephi tries to bargain with the dragon. He tries to plead with the dragon, and none of that works. And so you have to ask yourself, why is that? He's been through the ringer already, you know. Hey? So finally, Nephi's options have been reduced to either confront the dragon or curl up and die, essentially. And Nephi chooses to kill the dragon. And that's when he obtains the gold plates, which contains the writings of the fathers. So Nephi descends into the pit to save not only his father, but all the fathers. And so that's the story of Nephi obtaining the plates.
I can hear him doing it.
Pinocchio story.
Beautiful.
That's what it is. The story of Pinocchio and the story of Nephi. Same thing.
That's our Ward Radio exclusive. And in the Discord, we have the secret picture that we were able to get smuggled
Dude,
out.
I saw that, dude. I put it on the screen.
Excellent.
That was great.
Now, Cardin, I'm glad
Beautiful.
the bishop is back for this because our ward missionaries have been hard at work.
Okay.
And brother Sean Fletcher, who is I think he's the ward mission leader, actually, has gifted 50 Ward Radio memberships.
Whoa!
Twice.
Holy smoke!
Twice.
So everybody on the stream is going to be a member by the end of the year.
Oh,
He just gifted 100 memberships, dude.
That is incredible.
apparently
Sean
Luke's
Fletcher, thank
Luke's
you.
take on the big news with Jordan Peterson impressed some people. Good work. You got people
Wow.
throwing down.
All right, so
Wow.
everybody that would like to thank Sean for their membership, Sean, wow, thank you.
Thank
Wow.
you,
Either
Sean.
that or he absolutely hates Elder Gum.
Oh, yeah.
Or just loves Brad, which is, of course, the correct answer.
Oh,
Or
that's
he just
funny.
hates Elder Gum.
He's
He
like,
heard
oh,
us-
these guys are the best.
He's like, oh, these guys, they speak my language.
Wow, dude,
Oh.
that's funny.
Okay, well, guys, we need to get back to these ward awards here.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
We've got-
Yes.
we
Oh,
have-
wait. We in all of those, there was a super chat.
Oh, hit it.
From Geography Guy.
Uh-huh.
And Geography Guy says, does anyone else resonate more with talks from the 70s than those of the apostles? I do. I loved Massimo De Feo's talk. I can't wait to read it.
Yeah, because he's like a 70s gangster. That's why. Scarface, The Godfather, Massimo De Feo, they all look straight out of film noir, 70s, like I might like have killed your father and showed up to the funeral afterwards and, you know, given you $100 and kissed you on the cheek. Like, you know, they all come from that same era and it's awesome.
I think during that conference talk while he was speaking, actually, Julie Hanks came home and found a dead horse in her bed.
Oh my gosh. What was that? Jonah.
It's a
It's a
very
movie.
dated movie reference that
Porter
Movie
nobody will
reference,
get.
people. Movie
Porter
reference.
Rockwell, guys.
Just
I
the head.
understood the movie reference.
Just the head, not the whole horse.
Why?
I thought they edited that out of VidAngel.
Have you
They
ever
let
seen?
you have the option.
Yeah, you
Um,
can select.
There's a hilarious Far Side cartoon based on that too, but we're all talking about stuff that like nobody will get now. But anyway, all right. What's the next award, man? What's the next
The
award?
next award. Now, this is the second consecutive conference in which Elder Uchtdorf has brought home the Gangsta Award. Congratulations, Elder Uchtdorf, for the Gangsta Award. You can see him with his getup. He's looking great. He's
got a
fly.
grill this year, though. He's got a grill.
He does. He's upgraded. No, he gave a great talk. Okay, so Elder Uchtdorf's talk, he gets up there and his talk was called A Higher Joy, I think it was called. And essentially he says, all those things you love in the world, all those things that bring you love and joy and peace are all nothing compared to the gospel. He's like, You want real love, you need gospel love. You want real peace, you need to find gospel peace. You want real joy in this life, you follow the gospel plan is the best joy. Like, and he's relaxed. Ever since he got released from the first presidency, I feel like Elder Uchtdorf is like, I'm gonna do whatever I want now. And like he gets up there all loose. And he like tells
out from under the
jokes.
thumb.
Right? He's like, oh, you don't want me to talk about aviation? I'm going to talk about it again. And then he's like, oh, you want me to talk about aviation? Well, no, I'm just not going to do it. Like, he just does what he wants. It is fantastic.
Dude.
And the talk was excellent. It's really, really good.
By the way, it looks like
especially for our
Sean
time.
Fletcher is literally trying to make this a members only stream. He just gifted another 10 Ward Radio
What?
memberships.
Wow.
And
That's
he
a
said in a super chat that he would have done more, but YouTube wouldn't accept the payment.
Oh, dude.
my God.
So
Is that a
Sean
flex,
Williams
Sean?
running YouTube.
Is that a flex? I would have loved to put more zeros on my check, but I ran out of areas in that little box, you know? Is that a flex? Oh, that's
He
funny.
does realize that our funding from the church is sufficient. So
Yeah,
Oh
it's
my
true.
gosh.
he's
lot,
never going
a
to match
lot.
that.
All right,
A
so
lot
of-
show me this next W award. Guys, we're already at 10 minutes into overtime. We only got like another 10 minutes left here before we're
boy.
done. So
We
we
gotta
gotta
now-
burn
Wait.
through these, man.
So now we're going to crack into the memes, boys and girls, which is what we really came here for.
Okay.
The first
Oh, wait.
meme,
We have some bonus awards.
some bonus
Oh.
awards.
I put in some bonus awards.
Oh my
I
gosh,
found
you
them.
did.
I
Yes.
found them starting with best
Oh, you
quote.
did?
Mm-hmm.
Best quote. All right. So tell us right now who got the best quote. Luke Hansen.
Yes. So coming in with the best quote award, the apostles and prophets are always quoting studies and thinkers and authors and each other all the time. But the best quote goes to Elder Holland right out of the gate, snagging that award, first talk.
By
Of
the way,
course,
I
by
do have
G.K.
something to say.
Chesterton.
Like, to me, it's always like a little bit brown nosing whenever they quote Russell M. Nelson and he's there. Like, there's
Yeah.
always something
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
It's like, and when our beloved prophet said, it's like, shut up. Like,
He's
what?
like
you
right
gonna?
there.
He's right there.
And they should be like, they should point at him. They should literally whenever they quote him, they should be like, and that guy right there.
And he said,
That
No,
dude,
it just seems
he
like
said
I'm
this.
sorry.
Did
I
you know that?
shouldn't
He's
think
awesome.
I shouldn't think this of them, but it seems like they're kissing up a little bit too much. It seems like they're trying to quote the guy because he's right there. If I were prophet, I would put a moratorium on you quoting me in my presence unless you want to be perceived as a kiss up. And if you ever did, I would immediately demote you because I would just demote you to last in line in the apostles. Just last in line. I don't care if you're
gets
the
up-
oldest and about to inherit my seat the next day, last in line because you did the cringe quote while I was
Demoted.
sitting there. Yeah,
demoted.
demoted. So anyway, yeah, next one.
So-
We've got best quote. then what do we got?
yeah, Elder Holland won that just by it being a G.K. Chesterton quote. I didn't even remember what the quote was, but
If
I
you're
went and
quote-
looked it up, and it
Yes.
says, "Thanks are the highest form of thought, and gratitude is happiness doubled by wonder."
Hey, you want
G.K.
a
Chesterton.
Ward Radio award? You quote G.K. Chesterton in a conference talk.
Yeah.
That'll
And
get
just
you.
so everyone who
at
has
least
no
for the
idea
live
who
streams
that
I'm
is,
on.
G.K. Chesterton was a major influence on C.S. Lewis.
Mm.
Ah.
And we're all reading C.S. Lewis because C.S. Lewis was one of the people he was reading was G.K. Chesterton.
That's funny. I
Yeah,
thought
so
Richard
G.K.
Dawkins was a
Chesterton
big.
wrote The Everlasting Man.
No,
He wrote
but-
a book called The Everlasting Man, and
Okay.
about that book, C.S. Lewis said, "When you're an atheist, you can never be too careful what you read, if you wish to remain one."
Oh, that's interesting.
And he was saying that about a G.K. Chesterton book.
See, I thought G.K. Chesterton was inspired by Richard Dawkins, but that's just me, and I might have the timelines.
There's
Yeah, the
more than
timelines
two
mixed
British
up.
people in the world, Carden.
Oh,
You know,
he
there's
just
more
looked
than-
so old. I thought there was something going on there. Okay, best use of
Oh.
a visual aid. Best use
All
of a
right,
visual
yeah.
aid.
So coming in with best use of visual aids, they're always using. Elder Holland held up that Book of Mormon once. That's the all-time winner. But for this conference, we have Elder Venland coming in with "The Wave Was This High." Use of visual aids.
Yeah,
Good,
that was
solid.
a good
This
one.
was awesome.
Solid.
That
All right,
was
and
awesome.
Finally, for
Um,
the bonus awards,
Yep.
finally is most appealing to STEM majors. They're left out when we're talking about inclusivity in the church. General conference is not their cup of tea. However, Gary, sorry, I put Elder Runland, I didn't change it, but Gary E. Stevenson.
Yeah, it's Stevenson.
Yeah, they came in with the whole talk being about bridges and holding things up and supports and stress. And
Dude,
All the
that one
nerds
was
were going
so
wild.
good. I loved that one. I was having my kids like look at the screen, be like, "Look at those bridges! Aren't they awesome?" And they're like, oh. They were psyched.
Yeah, that was pretty cool, man. That
so
was
most
pretty cool.
appealing to STEM majors and toddlers is Elder Stevenson.
Yeah,
Bunch
that's
of
right.
geeks out there at their calculators. This is an awesome talk.
Excellent bonus.
All
awards.
right, so
Excellent bonus
what's
awards.
the,
Okay, we
we-
got some super chats to catch up on.
Hit us.
Okay, Jacob Mayberry says, "What will it take for the church to start missionary work in places like the Middle East and China? Do you think it'll happen in our lifetimes?"
The death
I
of
don't-
communism,
The death of tyrants.
death to tyrants. That's what it'll take. A
Yeah.
couple of well-placed bombs.
Elder Massimo needs to be in charge of that area, and then
Oh
something
my
might
God.
just happen. Something might just happen.
All
of a sudden we'll get in.
It's
Better watch
fascinating
out.
because both of those areas kind of heavily frown on any sort of proselyting happening. I do wonder if we'll see something like pure service missionaries in those places in our lifetimes. I don't know what it'll take to allow the actual preaching of the gospel, but
We
man,
have two.
the
you have
church.
two- Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying the church gets viewed as so American that it's really difficult for people who view us as like the enemy, to have us in there. Even recently, someone was talking about how missionaries in certain places in Africa are not wearing their normal white shirt and tie because it's getting them associated with like police and things in a way that's not helpful. So we're in a weird time for me to know what the answer to that question will look like.
Yeah, I served in the former Soviet Union. They, you look like an American. They're not very friendly with you. So,
Dude, I
but
was
we've
in
done it.
freaking
It will take. I think this is a great point. I think it will take the international portion of the church to make those inroads, and they have to make those inroads with two forces. One is communism, which I don't know if that one's going to be overly flexible, and the other one is Islam, right? And so those are the two forces in the world that prevent missionary work from going to the world, and finding out how to make. I think with Islam there are bridges that the church is trying to build currently to let them know that they can look at us as a friend and not a threat, and that is a complicated situation. So I think that's a very
Okay.
And it should be said that actually, and don't say this too loud, people, okay? Because it'll get our stream banned. But there is missionary work going on in China. It's just on the DL. There's whole branches. There's whole like stakes worth of people over there. It's kind of like
I wasn't gonna blow their cover, Jonah.
All right. Anyways, moving on.
Yeah.
great. Now the secret police are going after
Yeah,
them 'cause of
great.
Joe.
Good job, brother. Good job.
Sorry, I just
They actually don't mind it too much because one of our main tenets is to honor, obey, and sustain the law. Right? That helps in those sorts of areas.
Yeah,
Yeah.
except for the
But
first
moving
60 years of our faith.
Okay, moving forward. Let's see. We have our next one. Andrew Joy 08 says, "It's not who is speaking, but what is being said." And I think that there's a lot of truth to that, right? Like, it really doesn't matter who's speaking. All of these are words from the Lord to us. And if we have ears to hear and eyes to see, we're going to hear the message the Lord has for us in those talks. So I really like that a lot.
All right. Next one, my man.
Carden, you're going to like this one a lot. Snagrit, loved Oaks Xing Julie Hanks from the pulpit.
Oh,
Oaks
she
was
didn't
my
get
favorite
X, did
talk.
she?
No, Carden, of course he didn't X her from
Well,
the
that's
pulpit.
Jacob's girl, not mine. That's Jacob's nemesis, not mine.
She had a
She's
rough
not my
night.
nemesis. I
She's-
have already said that I would enter into
Dude,
a
she's my
plural
California girl from one state
Whoa.
over, man. She's from one.
Dude,
No,
she-
not my but like my boy, my girl, like my friend. From like one state over. We're both from the same neck of the woods. All right. Ironically, so is Tim Ballard, though. So I don't know if geographical Mormonism is a good
Jeez,
argument.
what is in the water down there?
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, seriously.
Holy cow.
So it's like, yeah, dude, like our families rub shoulders at regional conferences, I'm sure. I'm still being nice to her. I'm still being nice to her.
I'm
All
not
right,
being
you know?
mean to her. I just think that she says things that need to be contrasted with the truth.
Well, apparently
you
so
won't-
does Snagrit. Apparently so does Snagrit. So anyway.
So does
Okay,
Oaks.
next super chat. Sean Fletcher, next one up. Oh, hey,
Wow.
Luke. Brad and Luke, Apostles 2028. Would
There
I
you
love
go.
more
did not know
doctrinal
I was
deep
part of
dives.
this.
You are
I'm
now.
all of
Welcome
a
to the
sudden,
club,
I all of
baby.
a sudden like this joke a lot less now.
Exactly. Now
Yeah,
you see. All the pressure. Doctrinal deep dives. Would love more doctrinal deep dives with you guys, especially Luke, Brad, and Jacob, and the Ward Librarian. So this
Hey,
team
there we
specifically,
go.
more doctrinal deep dives. We should do those. That'd be super fun. I love those. Are some of my favorite
I
episodes.
want to do one about the temple. I
Really?
find how we talk about the temple interesting, and I think we should talk about it in a different way.
Okay,
I had
how
a-
so?
I want to on my channel. I'm thinking about. I've recently been in temple theme has been it confirmed. It was before they started talking about the temple and general conference so much. I was thinking after I went to the temple the last time that I want to create almost like my own temple prep, like not obviously my version. Don't take it too seriously, but sort of like what I would say to my children to help them to understand what the temple is before they go.
Okay,
So
word.
that people, if they found it useful, could share it with people that are maybe preparing to enter the temple. And with the fat disclaimer that this is Jacob Hansen's take on things, and you should make sure that you don't take it too far.
Oh, by the way,
Do you have to pledge
there's a
allegiance
clarification.
to Spencer W. Kimball and President Benson, and then also have an oath of against the progmos before you go to that temple prep class? Like, is it like the American Covenant on steroids or what?
Yeah,
Well,
that's
Carton,
not
that's
gonna
just
happen.
what the
Not doing
law
that
of
one.
consecration means.
Okay.
That's just what the
true
law
that.
of consecration means. So, back to Snagrit's thing. He said, here, let me see. He clarified that he's referencing when Oaks said, oh no. He thinks that Oaks basically called her out when he said, where is his?
I doubt he even
I
knows who
just
it
lost
is. Snagger said, loves.
I feel the same way.
He said,
did you find
he said, Christian kindness is no substitute for integrity.
That
Yeah.
wasn't
was?
Oaks.
Yeah.
That wasn't Dallin H. Oaks.
It wasn't
though. That
Oaks.
was-
It's actually the next meme that we have, though.
Okay, we'll get that next meme up.
No,
I'll tell you right now.
What Oaks said was those who emphasize personal freedom over covenants,
That would
okay.
be in direct.
which was very close to sounding like personal authority, right?
Yes.
So I think that's what Snagrit's referring to.
See, but the only reason why sometimes I'm so dubious of when people say like, oh yeah, did you see what Dallin H. Oaks said about Julie Hanks, or did you see what they said about John Lynn or about Zelf on the Shelf or whoever? You know, the reason why I never think that these accusations carry water is because do you really? First off, that would be a strategically flawed move, and I don't think these people do insanely strategically flawed moves. But second off, do I really think that the same leadership that barely got on Instagram, Young Men Worldwide going in February of 2024, do I think that this same leadership is all of a sudden so engrossed in Instagram LDS drama that they would call out an individual Instagram account in like North America when they're in charge of like 7 different countries, and they're worried about what the Southeast Asian dictator is going to do to the missionaries?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Instead of
I
worried
don't
about,
see it as a specific call out of Julie Hanks.
Yeah.
I just see him as teaching straight up normal doctrine, right? And it happens to look a little different than some of the
happens
things
to
Julie Hanks
apply.
says.
It happens to
Yeah.
apply.
So I don't think it's specific.
Okay, so
do we want the next super chat?
Yeah, just burn through these super chats, baby.
Burn through it?
Yeah.
Oh, I lost you. Okay,
Yeah,
cool,
just
cool,
burn
cool.
through them. Dude, we're already 23 minutes into overtime, man. So we got to burn through.
Oh,
these,
you're
baby.
right. Aaron Bowden, shocked and excited for the upcoming Yuma Temple. I am telling you right now, everyone in the area of the Yuma Temple, when you have the opportunity, I want you to schedule your first session for 3:10.
310 to Yuma. Nice reference. Solid reference.
And I will
John
tell you,
Whitbeck.
You guys got it.
some places there might be competition for the most beautiful thing in the area being the temple or being something else. in Yuma, Arizona, the most beautiful thing for 1,000 miles in every direction is that temple. Because I've driven through Yuma many times, and I don't know why human beings ever settled in Yuma, Arizona.
What
That's
does God have
Oh.
to do to keep people out of Arizona? You know, what does he have to do? The very
Stand by
sun of the
someone
sky is trying to kill you. Every bug can poison and kill you in your sleep. Every plant is trying to kill you, and people still settled there. I don't know what does God have
I
to
don't
do?
think people in Yuma
I
are
get
like,
this criticism.
we love Yuma. They say, but we're only 2 hours from San Diego. They just say,
Oh,
we
yeah.
can leave here.
Oh, by the way, so is the Sinaloa cartel's headquarters. All right, you know, like do we want to?
Although I will say they are only like 2 hours from San Diego. They're also only 1 hour from Rocky Point, Mexico, which is like the coolest place. Like it's tropical, warm blue water and like tacos on the beach and wonderful. And it's only like 4 hours from Phoenix. It's probably only like an hour from Yuma. And so I will say I'd be a little jealous with that because it is an awesome place to go where you can
So
just
you're
enjoy
jealous
warm,
of Yuma,
tropical water.
Arizona, because of how close it is into proximity to beautiful places that aren't it. Like that's for how unbeautiful.
That's like telling your wife you're pretty because you look like this much prettier woman.
Oh no.
Although I will say, if you guys have ever been in Arizona, in the deserts of Arizona, during the spring months when everything's blooming and green, it is wildly beautiful. I mean, I will fully say it during the spring months.
This guy's from
the
Reno.
more I
People
think
don't
about
listen
it,
to Jacob.
yeah, the more I
I
think
lived
about
in
it, the
That's a
more
good
I
point.
think
For 6 years.
Arizona and the like whole Southwest U.S. That's the land of desolation in the Book of Mormon. There's
Bingo.
no better
It's the place-
description.
It's the place that Brigham Young sent Dan Jones and a bunch of people in the 1870s to build Zion, and they built Mesa, Arizona, which is just insane that anyone was there so long
That-
before air conditioning, and those people
that-
did it. And I'm just
It
like,
doesn't
I'm
stop
sorry.
what I said.
Okay.
Okay,
That's
let's
kinda
keep
true.
going. Hitting the super chats,
Next,
brother. Keep hitting
Michael
them.
Williams Zatar. We got the amount of Chinese temple work currently being done tells me that the time is relatively soon for the living to receive the gospel as well. That's a cool take.
Yeah.
Actually,
And-
I recently had a Chinese name while going through. Yeah, there's been a lot.
Yeah. Well, also
and-
culturally, they're a lot more into recognition of ancestors, ancestor worship. It's not a tough sale for most Asian cultures to say, hey, we respect and venerate our ancestors by doing vicarious work for the dead in them in our temples. They're like, oh yeah, sweet, we're on board. Yeah, we've been doing that for 2,000 years. You guys do it for how long? Oh, 200. Okay, welcome to the party. So I could see that being very successful there. Next super chat, my man, hit it, Brad.
Okay, next one up. We have a
Samuel Skeen, member for 5 months.
Yeah, Samuel Skeen says, my wife almost put her foot down on me watching WardRadio until she saw Brad, who she knew in high school.
See,
And
I'm telling
I found
you.
out it's Crystal Vernon, a friend of mine from high school who's super awesome.
And
so Samuel Skeen,
here, once
job.
again, it's all the Brad
Yeah,
show.
see?
Guys.
Conclusive evidence.
Oh, we know Brad.
Oh, no,
Look,
Brad.
Oh,
we
my
were just
wife came
friends
out of
in high
inactivity
school,
because
okay?
of you, Brad.
We
That's
love
not what he
Brad.
said. He said
And your
she knew
hair,
in
look
high
at that. Jacob's over there with his
I was an
bald
apostate.
head.
Now I'm
He's
getting
great.
baptized. Oh, my name used to be Saul. Now it's Paul because of Brad Whippo.
Oh, my God.
Jacob's got some bald man bitterness brewing up there.
Okay,
Okay,
so
Oh.
next one.
Your beard, you're winning the beard.
Actually,
off.
Jonah, you
so-
have to read the next super chat because he's your friend and you invited him to this party. So
Wait,
Green
what?
Flash, Actually, I'll read this super chat. We just did a podcast with him, Jonah. Green Flash sends us a super chat and says, Matt Martinick only picked one of the 15 new temple sites, Maracaibo, Venezuela. He was close with a second one with Yuma instead of El Paso. Dude, he was batting like 700 last conference. This conference, he was only batting like 150, man. What's going on with Matt
Yeah.
Martinick, man?
He got crushed. Well, what happened was, since then, our subscribership has doubled, and it includes a lot of the Q15 who watched that original prediction, and they were like, we can't have these guys scooping us. And so they were watching this week, and when Matt made all those predictions, they quickly called the temple department and nixed a bunch of those places.
Do
but
we
they had
need
to
to
keep
start
one.
a
So
fantasy temple league?
Yeah.
Each general conference.
Puts it in and we see who wins the fantasy temple
I
league.
thought about taking bets. I literally have thought about taking bets, like just like on who, on like on what, like I don't know gambling culture. I don't know alcohol culture. I don't know gambling culture. But my assistant at the radio station is like, he loves like sports betting kind of nomenclature and looking at the stats and everything. And I thought, how funny would it be if pre-conference we're like, okay, who's the first one to quote C.S. Lewis? 10-1 odds that it's Oaks. 15. I'm sorry, that it's Holland. 15-1 that you're like. I thought it'd be really funny just to like have like, I don't know, like that fake stock investment game you always did as a senior in high school with not real money. I thought it'd be really funny to have like a fantasy bet league on which temples would get announced instead. But anyway, keep going. Next super chat, my man.
Next super chat. Best news, guys. Jacob Mayberry letting everyone in the ward know Don Bradley is getting married.
Hey.
Yeah. Congratulations, Don.
good
It's
for
so
Don.
awesome.
We got to throw a bachelor party for Don.
Oh,
Dude.
Like a Ward Radio bachelor party where we all like sit around and like read esoteric apocryphal scriptures and stuff and like
We'll play
Yeah.
like LDS history trivia game or something like that.
man, like a wild bachelor party.
Man, we are
Yeah.
such nerds. This is
Root
ridiculous.
beer.
Dude, his wife is awesome. His fiance now is
Fiance.
super awesome.
Science.
Yeah, his fiance.
Right.
Next up, we got Sean Fletcher. Yes, Temple. Also more Ward Radio wives who are beautiful and smart, but don't have to tell you. They just exude awesomeness. The best kind of strong woman. Just how if a nice guy tells you they are nice, they're not. Yeah, good call, Sean.
Through that.
I agree. Get more of our wives on these shows.
yeah,
Hear that, Riley?
yeah.
You wanna-
Which
you wanna
wives?
Show up?
Which wives?
Hey, well, we're
all of
gonna
them.
be
Like
recording
all of
again
our
this
wives?
week. We're gonna be recording again this week.
Jonah, I know what you're saying.
So yeah, we're gonna be recording
You
again
guys
this
are recording
week.
tomorrow, right?
Yeah, I strategically don't give away recording days so I can keep protesters from formulating outside of the studio. But
Yeah, Brad.
yes, it will be very soon, Brad. It will be very soon.
I mean, not, yeah.
Yeah. What's the next super chat, bro?
Okay, next one up, we have...
Clayton.
Okay, from Clayton. Hawaii will have 4 temples.
Yeah, rock
That's
on.
insane.
It's crazy.
That is wild.
One in
Ben
Honolulu now.
Giles. Yeah. Ben Giles says church making inroads in adversarial countries will take local members. I served in Moldova, and we had a district president who was a well-known lawyer and influenced national leaders to allow for more humanitarian and preaching efforts.
That's true.
And I think that this is totally true.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, I have a family member who is spending a lot of time in Scotland right now. I think he was working with them to help make it possible for us to have a temple there, right? Like, there's people involved in these places that are working toward all of these things. So I think every open mission, every open temple in a foreign country, it's only there because of all of this work being done by all of these members, sacrificing their time and doing their best to be Christ-like behind the scenes.
There are so many heroes behind the scenes that people don't realize are going on. And when I find out about those people, I'm just like, dude.
Which,
you
hey,
guys-
I hate to say it, I hate to antagonize you, Jacob, for the people that you've gone head to head with, but you know who was one of those behind the scenes heroes? If a couple of the apocryphal stories that I've heard are true,
I want to say Harry Reid.
Harry Reid.
I was about to say,
Harry
yeah, no, I
Reid.
know.
He was
I-
the
I
Massimo
do
De
know
Feo of the 90s. He was the Massimo De Feo of the 90s. You know what I'm saying?
And my dad had a personal beef with him. Harry Reid hated my father personally. So
Wow.
And-
Nice.
yeah, no, Harry Reid knows Ira Hansen.
This
Oh, wow,
needs to be a
that's
not like
story.
him.
I feel like this needs to be an
Story
episode.
time. Story time.
There's a whole lot about it, but
Story
basically
time.
my dad was a conservative talk radio show host in Nevada during the time that Harry Reid was there, my dad's a Latter-day Saint, Harry Reid's a Latter-day Saint, and they are on the other side of the political issues. And my dad wasn't afraid to bring up the fact that he was a Latter-day Saint and call him out on his crap.
That's funny. Are many of the plaid Matt Walsh shirts that you wear on your show, are those hand-me-downs from Ira? Because those things
I don't know.
Timeless.
But I do have some.
A
next
beard?
time I'm down there with you, Cardin,
Yeah.
I have some new gear that I'm going to be wearing, and I
Oh.
think you're going to appreciate it.
It's an Aloha shirt. Okay. All right. I did.
Okay, last super chat here. This one's just thank you, Ernest Pratt. I didn't see a thing that he said. Maybe he said after, don't joke about Arizona. So that might be what it was.
Oh, that's
I
funny.
actually
thought-
love Arizona in a lot of ways. Don't
I thought
get
Arizona
me
was
wrong,
safe
guys.
with
I'm not
being
Quaku.
on the stream.
Yeah, I'm not Quaku here, guys. I married an Arizona girl,
That explains
and
a
I
few
don't
things.
regret that at all. So sorry, Quaku, you're wrong on that one.
That's funny, dude. That's funny. Well, thank you very much, Ernest Pratt. Dude, Ernest, he just threw us a super chat, didn't even write anything. You know, he's just like, okay, boom, here's some money. So thank you very much. Guys, 3-minute warning here. If you have any last final burning questions that you want to say, make sure you send them to us in a super chat. And if we can get to it, we'll get to it. Other than that, just some final thoughts, man. What do you guys think? Brad, you go first. It looks like you're what? Oh, no. I forgot. We got the last awards, right?
We've got like 10 memes left, brother.
Oh,
we got
okay.
lots.
Go through those.
So we
We've
gotta
literally
burn
got
through some
like
of these.
we'll extend it to 5, and then I got to go inside. But yeah,
Okay,
let's hit
here
it.
we go. Here
Last
we go.
5
All right.
minutes.
We're starting off with first meme. This is Elder Kieran, who is striking a pose and flashing a gang sign in front of the grave of Calvinism. Ladies and gentlemen, Elder Kieran successfully slaying Calvinism with his talk. It was fantastic. You all should go listen to it. We also have a great quote from, this is Cardin, what was this guy's? Jack Reardon, what was his name? Where he says, Christian kindness is no substitute for integrity, says the guy who used to work at the U.S. Senate.
Like,
No. I do look. He left the U.S. Senate to go work in the church, so he was the last holdout. You know.
that is savage, dude.
Fantastic.
So he's ours. Now the next one is actually, this shows Jay Annette Dennis warming up for a conference in a wrestling match with Dr. Julie B. Hanks. Got her in a chokehold.
Wait, is that who it is?
What? Okay,
That
I
is the
can't see this.
worst.
What?
That is the worst Photoshop. Well, actually, maybe it's a good Photoshop. I'm trying to look at it. That's funny. That is funny.
Because
Oh
her
my
talk was
gosh.
fantastic about wearing garments and the privilege that it is to wear garments. You know that Julie B. Hanks was very, very sad about that, shorting all the garment manufacturing stocks.
And just so that people know, we were all in a group chat arguing about garments right before
The day
actual-
before.
Yeah, right before General Conference. And basically everything that Sister Dennis said supported everything that Jonah was arguing for in our chat. It
And
was
of
awesome.
course, Brad was perfectly in line with Jonah, and this is Brad's way of saying that she agreed with me. We get it, Brad.
Jacob,
just shows
I said
that-
I agree with you.
I know
Sister
you
Dennis,
More
she's
than
just
you need.
We
she's
were
a
all on the
baller.
same team. I'm just messing with you.
Okay, so then there's actually we have another. This is a picture of Elder Holland. After having missed a few conference sessions, Elder Holland the Gray returns as Elder Holland the White.
Oh,
Fantastic
that's true, man.
Fantastic meme.
Nice.
That's
Excellent meme.
true. That's true.
Then there's another. This is Jay Annette Dennis. She's just all over the place. This is Jay Annette Dennis just striking a totally awesome Bad A pose. Superman and Batman are asking, hey, ask her if she has any daughters, daring each other to ask if Sister Dennis has any daughters because she was flipping awesome. Then there's another picture of Jay Annette Dennis smashing the hammer of feminism with her bare hands. Pretty sweet. Well done, Jay
She doesn't
Annette Dennis.
smash the patriarchy. She smashes
She just-
feminism.
Oh, look
Crushing
at
it
that.
with her bare
I
hand.
wonder which talk was Jonah's favorite.
Oh, I love.
Was it cathartic, bro? Was it cathartic?
Yeah, a little bit.
Hey,
Yeah,
well,
great.
dude, I got to tell you, our world is starving for it based off of the reviews of the Latter-day Ladies.
I know.
Like,
I know.
What a phenomenal response. And it was just having just strong women come out and say, just strong baseline stuff. Like, it used to be edgy, you have to do like self-destructive things like smoke in the bathroom and like, I don't know, light off M80s in the middle of the gym or something like that. But now, like, to be like edgy, you just need to like go to church and support basic Christianity. So when you get ladies that like just talk about, oh yeah, hey, let's live up to basic, covenants, then all of a sudden, boom, super edgy. She's practically a Marvel character. So yeah, that was
fantastic.
Good,
now the last, there's another little meme here that shows, if you're wondering what President Nelson was actually doing during conference, he was sitting behind Elder Holland with a tiny red button, ready to drop him through the trap door.
That looks like a pretty big red button.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That's pretty large. Hey,
and then the last thing, and this is really the conclusion from this conference, guys. This is a seminal moment here. We have the Q15 versus the general authorities of the church. For the first time in church history, we have passed the torch from the reigning champions, the Q15, the best orators in the church, to, I believe, this conference now, the greatest oration coming from Team General Authority has finally won the title.
Whoa.
Brought the title back.
Moment.
I thought the General Authority talks were phenomenal this time. And, the Q15, they needed something. They needed Suarez to step up. They needed Christofferson was, usually the point guard. He just was falling a little behind. And then you had primary president come in from the side with the left hook. You had Massimo DeFeo calling in a hit. And it was just, the GAs just did a great job. They did a great job. So we're thinking here at WardRadio that the GAs won this round of General Conference.
So this will be the one conference where I don't skip all of the general authorities and just listen to the apostles.
The one conference, Jacob? No.
I will admit, I sometimes wait till I get recommendations on which ones from the 70s to listen to.
Well, there's just too many. There's freaking 50 talks. And if you go through one a week, as like, if you're celebrating Christmas and Easter, you can't, there's just so many. Like, personally, what I think we should do is kind of like, there's AAA baseball and AA baseball. There's the major leagues and so on and so forth. I think that what should happen is that, like, we should have some of the lower rungs doing, like, AAA, the super spiritual people. The Brads get free tickets and they get to go. And they vote on whether or not these people are good. And if they're good, they get invited to the big stage. You know what I'm saying? Because subjecting the entire body of the church to freaking 50 talks by where like 40% of the people are just objectively boring, and we're just paying off some kind of spiritual favor.
I have to say this. I think 100% anyone who was like, that talk was boring, wasn't listening by the Spirit, because I think if you have the Spirit there to guide you for it, the Holy Ghost is one of the least boring
I agree with you
things in the
100%, because unless you have the Spirit, I don't think you can make it through it. You know what I'm saying?
My God.
It's like some of these gong talks, bro. I'm sitting there and I'm praying. I'm praying the Lord will visit me. Lord, give me patience. Give me patience to make it another 15 minutes. All right,
here's the thing. I'm a little concerned for both Jacob and Cardin. Like, you got to get in the Mormon culture a little more. Like, we're the people who binge watch the Lord of the Rings extended edition every Thanksgiving. Like, I don't know why conference is so hard to get to for you guys.
I should repent. I don't make excuses for my sins. Don't be like me. Listen to all of General Conference. Oh, by the way, I will say this. Brad is totally right about the Spirit thing. Because on my mission, when I actually had the Spirit with me a lot more, I ate up General. I remember I watched it and I was like, I remembered it being boring as a teenager. And I was watching it on my mission. I was like, this is so awesome. And then I was like, it's been like this the whole time. Like, what is wrong with me?
Yeah.
It wasn't the conference change. It was, I was different. And I was actually like,
no,
in tune with
dog.
the Spirit, and what they were saying was getting to me.
No, Tony Robbins needs to come in and do a seminar. All right. Tony Robbins needs to come in and do a seminar for the Q15 and the GAs. And you want to know what? Just like on Yelp, there's ratings. We should have little star ratings in general conference, not ones that the woke scolds and the progmos have access to. No, just like regular people in Temple recommend.
I'm gonna back Cardin up. Cardin, I'll back you up. Bro.
Okay.
Here's the thing. I agree. The best is when you have a spiritual like giant of a message, which I believe they have. And it's not an either or proposition, and they're really good at conveying the message.
No, this
and
is the
obviously
job.
People have different skill
No,
sets
this is the job of the presiding bishop. He should literally get everybody after general conference to be like, bro, the ratings are in. I'm sorry, you were in the top. You're in the top 40%. You don't need to go to rehabilitation, all right? But you, elder so and so, you're kind of new. You didn't hit it out of the park. We're gonna have you go to the Tony Robbins seminar, and the bottom 50% have to go to the Tony Robbins seminar. All right. And the top 50%, they don't have to go. But if you ever dip down.
Hey, Cardin. This is why Jesus said, he who has ears to hear, let him hear.
No. You guys are missing it. You guys are missing it.
That's victim blaming. I'm a victim of the boring talks. That's victim blaming.
No, Massimo is the gangster, but Gong is playing 3D chess because he's in it for the Red Bull sponsorship. That's what he's getting. He's getting caffeinated energy drink sponsorship with his talks. That's what it is, Cardin. He's
the Red Bull
that
pin on his
sweet
jacket.
Red Bull money. Every time he talks, people are popping Red Bulls all over the place.
Yes, I love the other Canadian spy, Jordan Peterson. That one was funny. That was a funny meme. There's
actually one more thing in the Discord, Cardin. It's down towards the bottom. Okay. It's a very long, white picture.
And while you're finding that, I'll read through a super chat or two.
Sure.
Okay, we've got
Well, here's the comment. While you're looking up the super chats, the comment says by Ivy Lauren says, how do we get to become friends with the Latter-day Ladies? I felt so alone until I listened to them. Oh.
This is how you tune in here. That's how.
Yeah.
Yep. But there's actually one more thing in the Discord. It's just above that.
Okay.
And it's the true winner of conference this year. The number one, the true winner of conference this year is our own brother Matthew X, who's being rebaptized into the fold of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, getting the Holy Ghost back in his life. Brother Matthew X, we love you, brother. Congratulations. That is huge.
Brother Matthew X, what a huge accomplishment. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's awesome.
We got
last three super chats. Hit them up.
We got one from Luke Hansen. He couldn't talk over anyone, so he needed to give a super chat to get it in here. He says, Elder Cook was a more anti-Calvinist talk. Dude, we had a bunch of anti-Calvinist talks, and I am here for it.
They're defending Ward Radio. They're defending Ward Radio as well as funding us.
That's right.
I think they're doing it to push back on a culture that says that people are the product of their system. In other words, that we're determined and that we don't have agency to choose to be different than what the culture. We're not social determinists like Marxists. I think they're owning Marxism.
Both. They're owning both. And
exactly.
Jacob, I think the coolest thing about this, like I see people who will hide behind that, not intentionally because they don't want to they're not like, oh, you know what? I'll put this out instead. But they don't want to be responsible for their actions. And so when you get down to it, that's part of why people start adopting these belief systems. So I love this focus on agency. It's awesome. And Luke, did you have anything more to say about it so you don't have to super chat it to get it in?
I honestly don't know what Jonah's smoking on this one. Like Elder Cook was like, no, determinism is not real. Agency's a thing, like over and over. And I was like, man, Jeff Durbin's not going to be happy about this one. And then for some reason, this other person got the anti-Calvinist talk. I'm not sure what that was about.
Oh, well, I mean, there's more than one.
Both were perfect. Yeah, both were great.
They were all great.
And then Sean Fletcher, who is the prophets and apostles bishops? That's got to be interesting. Or an apostles ministering brother. Dude, about
could you imagine having the Nelson family as the family that you home teach?
Half of Utah has the Nelson family that they home teach because half of Utah is
how many kids that man had. That man was awesome.
That's funny.
Like a boss.
All right, next one.
Now, next up, we got Elder Ignatius from Words of Mormon. We got Elder Ignatius Maziofa. My former missions companion was called to the East Africa Area 70. I told him to subscribe. I went to General Conference for the first time. I told him I had a dream of him in Salt Lake City in 2016. Dude, that's so cool. And here he is now as a East Africa Area 70. Ignatius Maziofa. Sick. Elder Ignatius Maziofa. Okay, next up we got Mauricio Molina. He says, Carden, I would like to meet you in person one day. Can you and the rest of the quorum do a meet and greet in Provo? Let's destroy the progmos.
We don't destroy anybody. We defeat bad ideas and destroy bad arguments in the war of ideas because we're diplomats well trained by Brad Whitbeck. Okay. And
He keeps us in line.
Yeah, exactly. But you know what?
I'm so good at that.
We're rounding the corner here. Like, we really are rounding the corner. We've started doing news with Luke Hansen and so on and so forth. We're starting to be able to do some field trips, starting with some really cool YouTube videos that we made going to St. Thomas. Jacob's doing wrestling matches. I think all of us are starting to get to that next level in our podcaster/radio programs journey where we actually have a lot of fun establishing some real life man in the street, and you guys get what I'm saying here. We're taking it to the next level. So that's actually going to be happening a lot sooner than later. And the nice part is we own Bulletproof Vest now because of our first foray into public where anti-Mormons may be present. So that's coming, Mauricio. You're a stud, my man. Thank you very much for the super chat. And then Melissa F. says, Sister Dennis is my mission president's wife. I love seeing Ward Relief Society defend her. Who's Sister Dennis?
Sister J.N.S. Dennis? She
that
was
one.
the one who gave the...
I was thinking, I was like, I know the girls on Latter-day Ladies. I was like, they don't... Dennis? What the... You know what I'm... Oh, duh.
So
we're talking about conference.
She's the one who gave the talk about priesthood 2 weeks ago as well,
Yeah.
right? And then
got
got
all the
attacked in those comments, ironically, by women who are asking for women's voices to be heard more, right? Like,
yeah,
you got to be a little more kind to the person that you're trying to critique, I think.
You're not a woman unless you agree with the ideology.
Which ideology?
Women have to all think alike.
That's proven wrong by Latter-day Ladies. What?
And Polynike's 2000, he's got Carden. Obviously, they need to bring back the priesthood session immediately with patriarchy and horses.
They just need to instead of calling it priesthood session, they just need to call it patriarchy and horses. Like, literally, if I start another podcast, it's going to be called Patriarchy and Horses. Like, that's literally what it's going to be. And then with a mullet and a bald eagle on my shoulder, like, you know, Captain Ahab, I'll come riding in on a Clydesdale with like a screaming eagle. Ah! You know what I'm saying? It'll be like Patriarchy and Horses, bare-chested. Like, who was the Russian dictator that did that? Vladdy Daddy, Vladimir Putin. There we go.
Putin,
yeah. So how do you pronounce it correctly, Jonah?
Putin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Poutine. Wait, he's named after the Canadian delicacy?
After the Canadian delicacy, that's right.
Dude, that's awesome.
No, his name means the way. They all have like names. Stalin was Man of Steel. That means the Man of Steel. You know?
Really?
Oh,
yeah.
damn.
Putin was the way.
Oh, we need to bring that back. There is so much of Russia that we need to learn here in America, man. Let me tell you. You have the whole Paschal greeting. Happy Easter, he is risen.
Yeah.
Surely he is risen. Like, that is just awesome. I mentioned that to my bishop who served in Russia as well. It was like, oh, you know about that? And I scored points with my bishop. Thank you, Jonah.
Oh,
and
yeah,
then also,
super cool.
We need to just start calling people like nicknames. So Brad, he would be the diplomat, the fine art of the diplomat. No, his name would be the pen is mightier than the sword, and the soliloquy is softer than the savage razor blade. That would be like that would be Brad Whitbeck's
eloquent
name.
Carden.
Yeah, Luke Hansen would be man of few words but strong wisdom. Jacob Hansen would be die progmos die. No, I'm just kidding. And then Jonah Barnes, we already got one for him. He is the associate professor of all things apocryphal. So
you can never trust anything that I say.
Carden, yours would be You know what I'm saying, dog?
It would be Savage.
Savage!
Yeah.
The Savage.
The
That's who we
referee,
give
the
Carden,
Savage
the
referee.
Savage.
Okay, so dudes, unfortunately that's all the time we got, man. We gotta end it sometime. It's been
A final moment from Sean Fletcher.
okay.
To a reminder to all the gift memberships that he gave out, they need to remember to keep them active.
Yes.
So
That is so true, guys. You need to renew your membership. That's what keeps the lights on. That's what pays for the plane flights. Get Brad and Kwaku and everybody down here.
and Rachel Hudson just gifted 5 more.
Whoa, Rachel!
Wow.
Boom,
Jeez.
shakalaka, Rachel.
Wow.
Oh, the
Hudson.
ward just exploded after General Conference. I think it was all the criticizing Elder Gong. I think
Nope.
We weren't criticizing.
Nope.
Stand that
Actually,
guy.
Nope.
speaking of that, before we close,
Look how
this
Luke just put
meeting,
his head down. He's like, my face is not on this podcast.
I was typing my W's.
and I am
typing my W's.
I am audibly saying nope.
Now,
I
what
did
if,
do that. I did do that.
Could we all say what our favorite talks were before we end?
Yes. Let's say it
Just
before
for
we
a
go.
conference recap.
Yep.
Okay. And starting with Jacob Hansen. And
All right, with the ones that I've seen, which weren't that
Yeah.
many, but Elder Hollins, I just that one that I saw just blew my mind.
Nice.
Super good.
All right. Okay, Luke,
Who's
go
next?
next, bro.
All right, Elder Oaks. It's got to be Elder Oaks. It was
Okay.
great.
All right. I'll take it. Brad, what was yours and why?
Dude, I loved Elder Uchtdorf's talking about how what we seek we will find, and how that's such a key principle to the world, and how there's greater joy and a greater depth of joy in the gospel than you can find anywhere else because of the eternal nature of the world that it opens our eyes to. I think it was incredible. I'm going to be restudying that one again and again because I've been studying that principle for the past couple of weeks, trying to better understand the Sermon on the Mount, and it opened my eyes even more. It was so awesome. So literally anybody reread that one. It was so good.
Yeah. And Jonah, your last one, bro.
Man, choosing your favorite conference talk is like choosing your favorite wife. You know, it's just.
Oh my gosh.
I knew he was gonna say it. I heard it coming, and I was like, I know what he's gonna say. Here it
Texting
comes.
Charlotte right now.
Boom!
I'm
It
just
dropped.
kidding. Stop it. No, don't tell my wife I made that joke.
All of the
no.
progressives are like, look at these 5 white men making jokes about misogyny.
I think I love
Patriarchy and
Udo's talk,
horses.
A Higher Joy. That was so good and so timely. Although I gotta say, I know that this is the easy choice. President Nelson's talk was fantastic. He talked about the Kirtland Temple and the Room of Transfiguration in the modern era. He talked about restoring the priesthood keys, and he said, I thought it was one of the best lines from conference, something that we really, really need. He said, we are not just a church of nice teachings and charity work. We hold the keys of salvation.
Boom.
Yeah.
That is what makes us different. And it was just at the end of the conference to hear the prophet say that just straight down the barrel. We hold the keys of salvation in the
So
last
good.
dispensation. Was just it was so good. And he looked pretty good actually. He didn't look super old. He's just sitting in a chair, but he looked pretty sprig. So
Yeah.
With the glasses.
How much of that is
Yeah.
AI? It's AI. No, I'm just kidding. My favorite talk was actually the accountant that gets up and kind of does. I know people say it's boring.
auditor.
Yeah, the auditor.
The conference report.
Yeah, the conference report. It was the one talk that proves it wasn't the most boring talk besides Elder Gongs. So, no, just kidding.
Oh my gosh.
Totally
Hey,
kidding.
I can't
So-
stick around for the
I love
outro. I got to roll, gentlemen. Thank you so much.
Get out of here. We're leaving. We're leaving with you, man.
Adios.
Got too hot for
So-
Jacob. All
Got
the
too hot.
anti-gong talk got too hot for Jacob.
So anyway, last super
Wait, we
chat.
have a super chat. We have a super
yeah,
chat.
last super chat by
For
Emily
50.
Wilson.
Oh,
Thank you very
dang.
much.
Emily Wilson.
Emily.
She says the choir was the best part of conference.
Yep, exactly.
Well,
Yep.
the choir was pretty darn good. Yeah.
Make sure to pass that
We
through
still
to
haven't
Jim
been able
Bennett.
to see our boy Jim Bennett. You know, I've been searching for him.
I saw him.
Even in the wide shot.
I
Really?
saw him.
You saw
No,
him
yeah,
finally?
he was in a 10-second long shot.
Get
He's
out,
in the top
really?
row,
During the
guys.
Sunday.
He's always
Yeah.
in the top row.
Mhm.
I didn't get to see him. Dang it. I missed it. Okay.
Now I have to watch the whole thing.
We're
You
everywhere,
missed it,
man.
like you missed everything Elder Gong was trying to say.
We're
Hey,
just kidding. We love Gong. We're just
I
kidding.
know.
Dude, watch.
I'm just
He's
making
the
sure
one
the last
that-
thing we say about him is that he's awesome.
He's the one. He'll be like our first interview, you know. And well, you know, what'd be so funny is if he was just a closet savage. If he agreed to an interview, if he just like agreed to an interview and he sat down, he's like, "Oh, hi. What's the name of your show? Oh, okay, yeah. I do. You're the ones that in January 5th said I was the most boring speaker of the April 2024. Yeah, I think I remember. Oh, yeah. And then you're also the ones that said this, and then this, and this, and just like silently, just like in a monotone voice, just started.
How did this is the show pan out for you guys?
Boom, boom, boom. Just started just savaging. He's like, you know, I'm the one that made that call. I made that call to Fair. Huh? You want to mess with me again? You know what I'm saying? That would be so awesome. So anyway, all right, guys. Thank you very much for hanging out with us. For everybody involved, really quick, put your stuff up there if you want to pub anything. Brad, you got a book to pub. Jonah, you got anything to pub? Luke, you got anything to pub?
Yeah.
Not right now.
I got something right here. One sec.
Luke, what you working on, dog? What you working on?
All right. I was working on something that the audience doesn't get to know, but once the live stream ends, somebody, pick amongst yourselves in the chat, go and comment Elder Gong is the most awesome apostle or something along those lines, and then everybody like that comment. So it becomes the top comment on the YouTube channel right after this ends, okay?
Okay.
That's what we're doing.
That's
my pub.
I'm writing Elder Gong is the most awesome apostle.
I'm pubbing my recent book. So my wife and I just wrote this wonderful fantasy book. It's called Dragon Thief. It's for young adults.
Is it that
or for
fairy
fully
smut
grown
that all of the
adults.
wives in the wards are reading now?
All my wives, no, not all my wives are reading this. Only one of my wives is reading this.
Okay, there's like 20 ladies in our stake reading some fairy book, and apparently
this we worked very hard on this. I did all the artwork for this myself. It's won a bunch of awards because I'm just a great author. I'm just like freaking awesome. And so that's what I'm pubbing here today. You can get it for $99.99 on Bradwood.
Oh my gosh! My gosh!
So Brad, show us your stuff.
If you want to read Jonah's book, it's on SkystoneChronicles.com is where you can go. And Jonah is a pseudonym that he has is my wife, Riley Whitbeck, who's the illustrator for all of it. And yes, I've been wondering when to tell everyone that I am just the pen name of Jonah Barnes. He's been behind it all along.
I'm the ghost. Yeah, I'm the ghostwriter. See,
yeah. He's been doing this the whole time.
Totally, yeah. 500 page fictional award-winning novels. Yeah, I do that all the time. No problem.
Yeah.
So
SkystoneChronicles.com. You'll see whatever you need to see about the book. It's awesome.
Before I shut her down, Ward Clerk, you have one last introduction of Crypto CPA. Could you welcome Crypto CPA into the
Oh my goodness, brother Crypto CPA. We are thrilled to have received the records of brother Crypto CPA. He's a CPA, so he could be the new financial clerk in the ward. Watch out. All those who would like to welcome Crypto CPA to the celestial kingdom of the Ward Radio worship, please do so by putting a W in the chat. And any opposed, we don't care.
Exactly. That's awesome. All right, guys. Well, thank you very much for hanging out with us. Thank you very much for saying Elder Gong is the best apostle. Don't forget to like that comment. So it's the highlighted comment at the end of the stream. Speaking of this end of the stream, unfortunately, we got to go because as always, it's been real and it's been fun. And it's been real fun. For this and more, please make sure you check us out at WardRadio.com.
I built a rocket in my basement. I'm gonna fly it to the moon. This supersonic is amazing. You're gonna feel my sonic boom. I'm flying higher and I'm never coming down. Look at me now.